We're live. Okay. All right. So sorry about that, everybody. We had to just start a new link due to the fact that we couldn't get sound worth it. I just had all kinds of trouble with this computer. More than I've
having
had.
sound again.
Do what? Yeah. I know you can't hear me. I can't hear you. Can you hear me?
Guys,
Now? Can you try headphones or something?
guys, can you say?
I can hear you. I can hear you a little.
Can you hear me?
A little. It's weird. It's like, can you hear me?
Can't you send me the new link on Twitter?
Okay, I'll send you the new link on Twitter. I'll tweet it and then you'll see my tweet, but you sound better now.
I'm having serious sound issues. I can hardly hear you.
I can hear you well for
I'm
once.
having sound issues. I can.
All right. I can hear you really well.
I can't hear anybody.
Well. What about you, LMR?
I can't hear. Well, there is a little bit of a delay, and it's like as if it's underwater, like bubbly sounds. But I can deal with it. That's fine.
We're gonna have to just go with what we have.
Yeah. Bad.
Is that better? Bad. That's very bad. How about now? Can you hear me?
I can.
And I can hear you just fine as well. If we're not going to be able to hear you, though.
Yeah.
Okay, I can hear you.
Yeah, it's
Let's just press on. I can hear you. Let's just save our precious breath for a few sentences. I can hear you. So this is your first theory video.
Can you hear me now? Is everybody here? You can't hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you well.
Now I heard something, but it was kind of muffled.
Okay, you talk, Fire Witch. You say something. Okay, I can't hear you. Look, I guess we'll have to call this off. If we can't hear you, we obviously can't talk about your video.
Yeah, and let's try this. What if I hang up and there's going to be basically less people? So maybe if I disconnect, maybe you two are going to have better. What do you think? I'll hang up and then we'll see if it gets any better. Okay?
Okay, but
I can hear you, but okay.
It's pretty bad.
I can hear you well, Elamar.
Yeah?
Can you hear me well?
Oh, there is a comment here.
Okay.
From
it might work better if Fire Witch turns on the camera and
better turn all those microphones. Just try it.
I agree. Fire Witch, forget about your webcam and just use your icon and let's just hear your voice. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, do this. Like, do this. Can you hear me now better? Everybody then turn off their picture and we'll do this as a podcast.
Okay. Okay.
That way I won't be pulling so much on everything.
Yeah.
You can hear us. You can hear us.
Turn your picture off. Turn your webcam off.
Okay. How is it now?
Very good.
Well,
I can hear you well.
yeah.
Okay, Fire Witch, talk, please.
That's
Talk.
Jen pretty bad on the side.
My sound is pretty bad.
Can we try?
Your sound is terrible.
Yeah.
I can hear LMR and I think she can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you, Jen.
It's you, Fire Witch.
Can you hear?
It's I can hear you, but
okay. Is it?
It must be because you're.
Your sound is.
Okay, now I can hear you. Now I can hear you.
Guys, what? I don't know. It sounds better.
LMR, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. I was just waiting because I didn't hear any sounds.
Okay, Fire Witch.
Yeah, you guys hear me?
Yes.
No. Yes.
How's the sound now? Is the sound better?
Very good. Let's continue like this. Okay. So we're talking about a video Fire Witch from Germany has done about Jon being king and Sansa being queen. And it's her first theory video and it's 55 minutes long. So we're going to talk a bit about it, but this is probably going to be a 2 or 3 part thing because I had many pages of notes like 20 minutes in. Okay, Fire Witch, you start us off. Basically tell us your theory.
Yeah, hi, Fire Witch from Germany. I hope you can hear me now. Yeah, my theory, well, it's not really my theory, but I put it into a video, is that basically Jon and Sansa are going to end up as king and queen of Westeros at the end of the story. And yeah, I backed that up with a lot of potential foreshadowing and clues in the books and the show.
Okay, and I'm telling the chat, thanks for their patience. They say, yeah, everything's better now, way better.
Sound is better now? Okay.
Everybody can hear us. We're just not going to be able to use webcams for this. And I think it's because we're all in 4 points, 3 different points of the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to talk about some of the foreshadowing. Anything you want to talk about first, Elamar? You can go first.
Oh, thanks, Jen. First of all, I just wanted to say that this video, I really recommend it for everybody to see it. It is 55 minutes. However, each minute, each second of it in her video is amazing. It is packed full of facts from the book, from the show. So there's not even 1 minute wasted. Highly recommended.
Thank you so much.
With that. So as far as other, I mean, there's so many things, as Jen said. It's hours of talking about it. It's basically amazing. I've never heard about it before, even though I have watched many people, many videos. But this is just so well put together. Again, thank you for making it.
Thank you so very much. It really means a lot for me.
So Jen, you can start with a question if you want to start with a question. I just wanted to say that because I was amazed by the video.
Thank you so very much.
And I just want to make plain, when I first read even the title, my friend Marie Hill turned me on to it. Marie Hill from Australia. You guys will know her from a 1,000 Theories with Marie, or Game of Theories with Marie, and she turned me on to it. Fire Witch and I started talking, and we've been planning this for a while. We just, with her time being so different than ours, and Elamar being busy with kids, and I just started a little job, we just had to be able to get on the same page. And that's why Justin is not here with us because of the computer trouble and not being able to get on the same page. But anyway, continuing on, the first thing this video goes on to is the fact that George R. R. Martin says outright in a 2014 video with The Telegraph that for the most part, just a sec, I've got so many notes. He basically says that a lot of people out there have some real bullshit theories, but one or two people have picked up on the subtle clues that he's scattered throughout the books and have it figured out. And once again, just love this video. Can't believe it has almost 25,000 views and only around 530 likes. But you did get a lot of positive feedback to the video as well.
Yeah.
Comments, especially for people who ship Sansa and Jon, which I just realized is called Jonsa. And then you also cite the fact that Sophie Turner and Maisie Williams both say it is probably not what you think, and a lot of people are not going to be happy. Now, somebody named Ricky Hunt, who comes to my book club, pointed out that Sophie Turner said when asked about the Jon and Sansa thing, she said, no, it's not going to happen. Well, folks, how many times did Jon tell us he was dead?
Yeah.
So what they say to me means little and less.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
So, and then we go on, okay, and she just has a massive amount of parallels that I never even thought of. I mean, this is the kind of video that makes you want to do a reread, even if you don't agree with her, because you've got to see where she's coming from with this. And I want to start with a Jon and Sansa parallel. The beginning, Jon and Sansa mirror each other in so many ways. They both leave for Winterfell with hopes and dreams and ideas that are very soon destroyed. Jon to the Night's Watch, where he quickly learns it is nothing like his idea. He feels a little bit betrayed that no one told him the truth but Tyrion Lannister. And the same thing happens to Sansa. She thinks she's going to live the fairy tale dream, marrying the crown prince, highest lady and King's Landing, only to the queen and herself. She's just living the dream, and or what she thinks is dreams, but she quickly starts to see cracks in that and ends up in a world of shit. And I know we could break off very easily into many different discussions here with that. I'd love to ask you about Tyrion, and since he is kind of closely acquainted with both of them, more than the average person, but we'll get too off on a tangent. So let's just look at a few more of the parallels. Anything you want to say, either of you, about the fact that they both leave home, one of them happy as can be, only to be made as low as she's ever been, and one of them as sad as can be, only to become as high as he has ever been.
Yeah, you want to start, Elamar?
Oh, I thought it was a question for Brita.
For both of you, just,
Yeah, for when you mentioned that they're both leaving, later on you mentioned that one is going north, one is going south. That's also a kind of that was not a clue. I mean, obviously it was a clue after I saw this wonderful video that you made, but they're going in completely different directions, but with the same kind of delusion of grandeur of something wonderful about to happen. And it's completely unexpected, I would say, because they're not even thinking about each other, or they don't know each other. And that would be a wonderful twist of the entire thing, that the two people who couldn't be further apart, who couldn't have basically, who cannot have less in common than they already have, may end up together.
Yeah. Well, I think it's really beautiful about these two is that they are leaving Winterfell because they think they don't belong there. Sansa thinks she belongs to King's Landing because she wants to be a queen someday. And Jon thinks he doesn't belong to Winterfell because he's a bastard. And so his only way to make a career for himself is going to the Night's Watch. It's pretty much the only option he sees for himself. So it's really kind of really sweet and bittersweet that both of them leave Winterfell because they think they don't belong into this place. And it's really even more beautiful that they meet again to reclaim this place, their home, and that they are now basically Lord and Lady of Winterfell, and it's really really very very poetic, I think.
Yeah, when you say that, I if I could add something, you just got me thinking about another thing with that. I mean, completely two different directions. Sansa is planning to be the queen, an actual queen of the entire, well, minus one, kingdom. And Jon, so she's gonna be at the top of anything and everything, whereas Jon is gonna be at the bottom, in a way, kind of thought of as a bottom, especially in that time, being at the wall. That's where criminals, bastards, and sons with no lands go. So that's kind of as low as you can go, kind of in a way. So complete opposites, which makes it so exciting.
Yeah. And like I said in the video, Jon is really going from, bastard, lowest bastard to Lord Commander, and Sansa is going like the opposite way from future queen to bastard. And it's like they are really mirroring each other's journeys, characters, and yeah, it's really, really very beautiful and poetic, I think.
I agree. And I've said this many times, and I know everybody thinks this, but man, George R. R. Martin, this is what I love about his writing. He just makes no mistakes. The smallest detail has been seen to that ties in with this detail, that ties in with that, and so on and so forth.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really, really very beautifully thought out, I think. Really beautifully structured.
I'll go as far as to say masterpiece.
Yeah.
And the Winds of Wolves in the chat says, adding about the opposites, both couldn't wait to leave Winterfell, and they eventually ended up being the two Stark longing the most for and rebuilding it. We are getting there, the Winds of Wolves. We're getting there. In fact, let's go to a next parallel. Jon is bullied mercifully at the wall by anybody who basically is a bully already, because Jon is inspiring. He inspires people to follow him. Alistair Thorne says this when he says, Lord Snow speaks and the peasants listen. Tremble. Yes, tremble more so. Jon rises above this because he is kind, fair, and inspiring. Jon gets betrayed by some of his Night's Watch brothers by doing what he thought was right. Now, this happens to him again and again and again, just not to the same extent as getting stabbed.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me see.
Yeah, and that one when you sorry.
Y'all go ahead.
Oh, with that also when you're saying when he goes there and people tremble or listen, it's interesting how before he got there, it seemed like nobody could see the ridiculous situation that was there, meaning people were bullied instead of being made into brothers, and so kind of he can see this completely chaotic place, just as Sansa can see completely chaotic place at the court where it's not, flower. I mean, eventually she sees it, that it's not just flowers and parties. It's the ruthless, and it's not as pleasant as they thought.
Yeah.
And let's just remember, she's coming from a place where she's second only to under her mother. She's not used to people being mean to her. So to go from just being basically, everybody knows, because court is always a very gossipy place. History teaches us this. I'm sure the King's Landing, we know the King's Landing court is no different. There came a time when everybody knew Joffrey couldn't stand Sansa, truthfully. And that goes back to the wolves attacking him. Anytime somebody put Joffrey in his place, or Joffrey knew that they thought low of him, or knew that he was a fake, basically like his uncle Tyrion, he hated them automatically. So he had already turned from Sansa. Basically, in my opinion, the Blackwater thing just gave him the true reason to be able to break his pledge with a feasible excuse, if not honorable still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Many fans blame Sansa because, and it's for both of you guys, many fans blame Sansa because of the betrayal, which she did when she told Cersei of her father's plans so they couldn't quietly make their escape. I don't blame her personally. I was mad at her just like any other reader for a while. She just got on my nerves. I thought this stupid little bitch, more stupid than bitch and naive. But basically, a lot of people then before this last season thought Sansa will surely turn on her family. No, Sansa will never turn on her family again. That's my 100% opinion.
I think that was a lesson learned, hopefully. I don't remember hearing it or in the text. And if you did, please let me know, like if she actually realized what she did.
I think it's kind of, in between the lines.
Okay.
But definitely, I think it's in the text. Her father telling them we're leaving. And that's when in the TV show we get that scene. No, I want to have his beautiful blonde-headed baby.
Blonde, yes.
And Arya goes 7 hells.
I think it's so ridiculous. This entire Sansa hate. People really are blaming her for bullshit. That really, they are blaming her for Ned's death. The only one who got Ned killed was he got himself killed because he was pretty naive and too honorable and was too open towards Cersei. And the other person who got him killed was Joffrey. People are really, Sansa was, how old was she? 11, and people are really blaming her for everything.
I think.
Exactly. I mean, I know I do have kids kind of that age,
Right.
and they do some stupid things and they regret them, but things that are done are already done. It cannot be undone.
Too. I remember my dad telling me one time, because I couldn't go to a party I wanted to go to when I was pissed. And my dad said, Jennifer, it's not the last freaking party. There's going to be plenty of parties. There's always another party. And I think Sansa had not yet realized that type of mentality. Like, hey, I don't have to be somewhere or, and everything is going to stop and change just because I'm not there. And I think she learned this, especially when she became known as the traitor's daughter and kind of had to hang her head.
Yeah.
Sansa is really, I think she is disliked so much because she's really, she's this typical princess girl, with typical girly princess dreams. And, it's a general Sansa hate issue because she's the closest thing to the traditional feminine character. She likes knitting, she likes pretty dresses, she doesn't wield swords, she doesn't have dragons. Therefore, people always often call her useless, and like I said, still blame her for shit that she hasn't even done back then. And there's of course there was so much bullshit talk that she would turn against her family, like you said, which would really, if she really did that, that would for her character really ages back. And that's really not the conclusion of her storyline.
Yeah, it's sad to see. I mean, right now these days we're about women and power, and that's great, and I'm very much for that, and this is what I teach my girls. I have two, but there's nothing wrong with wanting a family. There's nothing wrong with wanting pretty things. I mean, you can be strong and be a princess in a way. It's sad that we kind of see her. I mean, this was written a while ago, right? But we look at it through a lot of us look at it from perspective of current times, current issues, where a girl is supposed to be, powerful, and she's supposed to want power and equality. Yeah, of course, but power, equality, and sure, I want a pretty, whatever it is, I want something pretty too, and nice. Not everybody has to be the same.
Yeah. And with Sansa, it's like the fans, they think that being strong, being a strong woman means not having traditional feminine traits. People are constantly pitting Arya and Sansa against each other, like, oh, Arya is so badass because she kills people left and right, and Sansa is useless. She's not strong because she doesn't wield swords. And people need to realize that there are different sorts of strength, and Sansa is a very strong character because she survived all the way back. She survived.
Just like Septim Ordain always tells her, and she was raised on this, a lady's armor is her courtesy.
Yeah.
And we do see Sansa use her courtesy and shut her mouth and kind of just try to exist for the first and second season, and definitely in the first book.
Yeah, and I'm just thinking also about for the whole swords, right? I mean, people think about Dany as obviously she is powerful, but I have never seen her holding a sword.
Yeah,
right.
I missed it. Everybody that does fighting for her is because of her claim. So anything and everything that happens is done through other people. She has this strength. She exudes this strength, I guess, and that makes people bend to her will somehow. But she has never. I don't remember.
You want to help her. You want to be good to her.
Yeah.
She is. There's another contrast to her and Jon. Sansa invokes people to want to kind of be nice to her and take care of her because they don't want to see her hurt, because they can really see she really was that naive, and she's such a change from Cersei, the other high lady they've served, that it invokes a certain loyalty in people. Let's get some quotes from the chat, you guys. Super Fuzzy says Sansa gets so much grief from fans due to the naivety she showed in the first few seasons of the show. She has matured and become a real player in the Game of Thrones. I agree.
Yeah.
Okay. The Winds of Wolves. I think another reason Sansa is disliked so much is because people see their own flaws, weaknesses in her. If people would get in her situation of abuse, they like to imagine they would fight back. Okay, the Winds of Wolves. I want to tell you that's one of the reasons I'm sympathetic to Sansa, because I can remember being the 15-year-old girl who thought I would marry the perfect man, graduate from college, have the perfect house, the perfect job, be beautiful, never make a wrong foot. And, that's just not the way life is. You can get a good advantage, but whether you sink or swim in this world especially is completely up to your character.
Yeah.
Exactly. We can never, until we are in the situation, and we can always, oh, I would do this. Of course you would. There's this would, right? I would do it.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yeah, exactly. You never know. Even let's say you were strong before in the situation comes again your way, and then you react differently. And you're not always in control. You should be, but sometimes it's too much. So yeah, not everybody's perfect. I mean, she did screw up with that lie, but again, what was she, 12,
And
11?
the crazy thing is, for as little perfect as she is, most of the narrative we get when people describe Sansa Stark is that she's that she's a lady, that she carries herself well, and that she's actually, aside from the people who are hangers on and sycophants who would do whatever Joffrey wanted, most people in the court like her.
Yeah.
For her.
Yeah, and with that too, it said something about there was something about she should have known better, she should have not lied or maybe speak the truth. But it's up to the parents in a way. I mean, this is a kid who's gonna lie, and then we have Joffrey who's lying, and then his well, not father, but Robert later on said to Ned that he knew that Joffrey was lying. So if he knew that he was lying, so it's not just on Sansa, she's a kid.
No, yeah.
She didn't say anything. She said, well, she doesn't remember what happened. So kind of didn't lie, but didn't tell the truth. But Robert knew the truth. He knew his, so-called son. That's kind of not just on the kid, it's on the parents.
Rich says, yeah, but well, Micah's blood is on her hands. You mean Ned? She knew what happened at the river. Oh yeah, and lied. Okay, back when her wolf got killed. That's the one time Sansa especially pissed me off, because you always hold up for your family. But then too, Ned was right in saying to Arya, well, look though, it's done, because they're formally betrothed. You got to remember, at this point, they don't realize Robert's going to die and shit's going to hit the fan. To break a betrothal with Robert Baratheon would have resulted in hard feelings, at the very least.
Yeah.
Okay, and there was just a couple more comments pertaining to what we were talking about. Squash die eyeball. I mean, nowadays everyone would tear up in just a story took place, yet fans still judge her more harshly than any other child on the show. Well, except for Joffrey, but there's no comparison. Viper Wren says, also, how her strengths were never in martial prowess, like Brienne and Arya or Daenerys with her dragons. She just wasn't raised that way. Bubba Husky. She's a turd early on. She got lady killed and blamed Arya for it. We agree, and that's what we just went on about with Rick Show. We agree. That's one time I don't like Sansa. But on the same token, and especially people out there who have been married, there's a certain point where you two have to be a united front. And I believe that's what Ned meant.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I'd be a fighter.
To me, it's just ridiculous that people still nowadays are still won't let go of that and are still blaming and are still referring to season 1 stuff when they're talking about her. I mean, every character has done shit in the past, but she's pretty much the only character that can't seem to recover from that, and people somehow choose to ignore her entire amazing arc just because she was behaving like an 11-year-old girl when she was 11.
Like somebody should have been, exactly. Juliana Fortes says Micah would die anyway. I don't think the death is on her hands.
Maybe. I mean, once Joffrey.
Arya made it worse. She really showed out.
And I'm wondering, because what else would happen? Meaning, when Joffrey started fighting with Micah, I mean, would he have killed him?
He could have killed him. He wouldn't have got in trouble either. Y'all, I got to put my dogs out. We're adopting a stray cat. Y'all continue. I'm going to put my dogs out. Come on, you two.
Okay. Let me look at my notes. Unless you want to add something to that, I'm gonna look through my notes.
Yeah, look through your notes. Let me know what you wanna. This is really a very frustrating topic for me.
Yeah. So exactly in a way, everybody hates Sansa, but then a lot of people love Jon, even though he has, illusions of grandeur and this great person. So people hate on Sansa for wanting all that.
Go ahead.
And then nobody seems to be hating on Jon for wanting to be great at the wall. Kind of
Yeah, exactly.
not fair over there. Yeah. I do have the next note here. I'm not sure if Jen was gonna go a different route, but I wrote down that Jon is Sansa's hero, like you said in your video.
Yeah.
Sansa wanted a hero, and Jon is the hero. So
Okay.
again,
Yes.
only.
We have. Okay. So you wrote down that Jon is Sansa's hero.
Yeah.
Okay. Fire Witch has a very good parallel on that, and it covers that in the video and exactly why Jon is Sansa's hero.
Exactly. Yeah.
You want to go into that one, Fire Witch? That parallel?
Well, we know that Janos Slynt was kind of. He was leading the. Was it right that he was leading the King's Guard when Ned Stark was beheaded? Right. And she was kind of wishing for someone to behead Janos Slynt, and of course at the wall, Janos Slynt went to the wall, and there he was kind of rebelling against Jon when Jon became.
Your sound's messing up. Say it again.
Want me to repeat everything?
Yeah.
Jen, I noticed that when I try to mute myself when others are talking, I just noticed that there's less noises coming from here. So I don't know, maybe you can try that next time too, like to mute while Rita's talking. Maybe it's gonna make it better.
I couldn't help it. My husband came in.
That's okay. That's okay. I just noticed that here too.
But
I'm gonna mute myself.
Okay, now can everybody be heard? I turned this down, but I've got headphones on. And yeah, I went and got headphones so because we're adopting a cat, so there's going to be a bit of commotion around me.
It's better now.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, go over again. Okay, so you said LMR. Yeah, Sansa wants a hero, and Jon, and what we're saying is Jon is that hero figure. Fire Witch. Go into the parallel you found between Jenna, Slit, Jon, and Sansa.
Again, these are really not my parallels. I just, put them all together in the video. And Janos Slynt was, I think he was head of the King's Guard when Ned Stark was kind of captured, I think. And Sansa kind of really hated him, and she Janos Slynt went to the wall, and there he was when Jon became Lord Commander. He disobeyed his orders, and Jon ended up
Yeah, so Sansa thinks to herself when they're sitting around and she's near Janos Slynt in King's Landing, and she knows that he was there when her father was killed, etc., or when he was captured in the throne room, and she thinks to herself she just likes somebody to kill him. Oh, but that would take a hero, and there are none. And then at the wall, much later, Janos Slynt is beheaded and punished by Jon.
Exactly.
Yeah, he was her hero, basically there. She didn't know that unless, they spoke about it.
No, she didn't know at the time. It was both something. You there? Everybody there?
Oh, I'm here. I'm here. You were breaking up a little bit.
Okay. Say again.
Okay, Fire Witch, say something.
Say again, Jen. What were you just saying?
Oh, that's all I was saying. Another parallel.
I really like that concerning the hero issue. That of course that wasn't the only time that Jon was Sansa's hero, because all the way through season 6, basically, he became her hero. He saved her, and he reclaimed their home for her. He went to war for her, and yeah.
Fire Witch, your sound is messing up bad again.
Jen, I think I noticed that the sound is getting a little bit worse because whenever one of us speak or two people speak at the same time, or there's noise.
I wasn't talking.
I'm sorry. No, I think I was hearing there. I saw like the green sounds coming from your maybe you were touching something on the computer, because there was like now it's better. Now you have it muted. Okay, let's see if this one works, and I'm gonna mute myself too.
Okay, Jen, you still here?
We're here. We're just muted. So go ahead.
Okay, let me start again. Yeah, right. Concerning the hero issue, I just wanted to add that it's really nice that, of course, the Janice Lind incident, it wasn't the only time, of course, that Jon was Sansa's hero, because he pretty much became her ultimate hero in season 6 when they reunited. Because he saved her, he gave her shelter, and he went to war for her and for their family, basically, and he reclaimed their home. He's basically, no matter how much people want to pit Jon and Sansa against each other in the Battle of the Bastards, they reclaimed their home together. And so from that moment on, pretty much, Jon really became her ultimate hero, and I really love that.
Yeah, with that one, I'm gonna quickly jump in that and it's I think later on too, that meeting that they had, right? That reunion. I mean, oh my gosh, we were waiting for those Stark reunions, and that the music basically got me. I was crying like a baby when when I saw them embracing, and then the way she exhaled, like all those pains were taken away from her, while they were not at home, they were in the north, but she was with her family, she was with Jon, so that was just perfect. But then after that, no other Stark reunion could match that.
Do you think that they're really, because it was really strange that we know that Jon and Sansa never had a scene together, and they were the first Starks to reunite, and their reunion was really very emotional. Do you think that was a coincidence, or did they do that on purpose?
100% on purpose, in my opinion.
Exactly. Yeah. That was I mean, I wanted it. By the time she greeted him, I forgot how separate they were, how they did not have anything in common. A Stark is a Stark is a Stark, basically. So I did not even remember that they were not close by the time they joined. I wanted, Stark to reunite with the Stark, period.
Yeah. Because it was really strange how all the viewers were so emotional about this reunion, even though Jon and Sansa never had any scenes before this scene, and yet everyone was like, "Yay, Stark reunion!" And it really got me wondering if they really did that. They must have done that on purpose, because with everything that followed afterwards, I think that was really the beginning of something really, really, really more meaningful.
I agree. I mean, their reunion was definitely the most heartfelt. Of course, we haven't seen Jon Arya reunion yet. And I cannot wait to see how everyone reacts when Jon arrives back with the Dragon Queen.
Yeah.
True. I wonder if Arya is gonna get some of her humanity back, like if she's gonna snap out of that no one. I mean, I hope. I mean, their goodbye was one of the toughest to watch, one of the hardest ones to watch. Yeah, I really, everybody wants to see how how they reunite. Yeah.
I really hope that the Jon Arya reunion will kind of make Arya a human being again, because in season 7 it was like she had a different personality in pretty much every scene she was in. She went from psycho to normal to psycho again to, I don't know, robots. And but that's the scene with Hot Pie, when Hot Pie was telling her about Jon. She kind of went from robot killer to human again. She showed a really human emotions again, and I really hope that they won't screw that up next season. And I really hope that they can kind of redeem Arya again a little bit and make her a little bit more normal again. I think this reunion could really achieve that.
I mean, from all the people, Jon is the one who could find some of the old Arya in Arya. I don't know if there's anybody else that Arya. I mean, there's nobody else. I mean, all the people.
I also think Jon won't be shocked at all by her appearance. Sansa wasn't really shocked by her appearance, but she had a good laugh when, just like the soldiers, oh, I'm going to kill the queen. And what was it Sansa told her? Some shit like that. But they had a hearty laugh about it. But I think Jon will take her serious. I just wonder how Arya is going to feel about the Dragon Queen.
Yeah.
I think Arya's going to hate her.
I do too.
Yeah, I wonder how that's gonna go. Yeah.
I think she's gonna think that she's a bad person.
If they're really doing some bullshit where Arya is like, oh yeah, badass dragons and yeah, badass dragon queen, that would be super out of character, and that would really be the biggest bullshit they could pull, really.
And let's also remember, one of the things that Arya busted Sansa's chops about was, oh, you're the Lady of Winterfell now, huh? I have to call you my lady. Okay, well, what do you think she's gonna act like when she has to sit there through 8 freaking titles?
Yeah.
I wonder.
I'm so looking forward to the Sansa Daenerys meeting, where I can really imagine it like Sansa Sansa snarky again, and it's like listening to her 100 bullshit titles, and then she's like, yeah, I'm sure burning people alive is very satisfying, but it's not how you get.
We've got a good comment. Viper Wren, and hello, Marie Hill, Bubba Husky. Viper Wren says, I'm going to kill the queen. With how the show likes to mix up with explanations, I don't think Cersei is the queen who Arya kills. I think it's Dany.
Oh, that would be awesome.
It would be. I would quite enjoy it.
Nice.
I don't think Arya will kill Cersei.
I don't either, but I'd like it.
You would like it?
I mean, I think it would be very satisfying. But I can tell you one thing. She didn't like Sansa acting all bougie, putting on airs. She's not going to like Daenerys at all from the jump, probably. She won't consider having dragons being a fighter, really, I don't think.
I think it would be totally unsatisfying if Arya kills Cersei, because Arya really doesn't have anything to do with Cersei.
No, I said Daenerys.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that's we have 3 people right now. We have Sansa, Arya, well, 4, Dany, and Cersei. we all want Cersei to die, kind of in a way. Although the show is gonna be so different without her, but at the end, I wonder who's gonna be standing. As a as a live person, not as a white.
And I go back and forth a lot. I know we need to stay on point, but I go back and forth a lot with wondering whether or not Arya is going to make it.
I think Arya's making it.
You do?
I think Arya will. Arya will at the end leave again. Some adventures of her own.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Like when she told the actress, she asked the actress, "Well, what's past this?" And the actress said, "I don't know. Nobody does." And she said, "Maybe one day I'll find out." And the actress told her, "I think maybe you will, or maybe you should."
Yeah, yeah. That would be a nice adventure too, to kind of her
And
to go.
a friend of mine who's in the chat says she thinks that's John's end, like he just goes off on his own. But
I don't.
maybe that's Arya's end.
I don't think so.
Not if he resembles Ned so much. He's too much about duty, honor.
Yeah. I wonder with Sansa and Jon. So I originally I wanted Sansa, not Sansa. I wanted Arya to kill Cersei by using somebody else's, by using Jaime's face. Not necessarily Jaime being dead at that point, but just using his face. But now I'm more towards Sansa killing Cersei. I don't know how, but I mean Cersei put her through hell.
Yeah.
And not necessarily, I mean, Sansa being the younger queen or whatever it is, but maybe Sansa teaming up with somebody. But I would seriously want Sansa to kill Cersei somehow.
Yeah, me too.
To
I don't
get her
I don't
revenge.
want I don't want it to be this what everyone's saying, oh, Jamie is going to kill her because of the Volonka prophecy that's not even mentioned on the show. I think it would be really very way more satisfying for Sansa if she did that. I don't know why, I don't know how, but yeah, somehow that would be really very satisfying for her arc, for the history.
Yeah. I wonder, like, and then with Jamie dying in the arms of, his beloved, between Cersei and Brienne. However, who knows? Maybe Jamie's gonna be there too. It's just there's so many different routes this could go. And currently, at this moment, I would really love Sansa to be the one who kills Cersei somehow. But who knows?
Yes, we definitely need a Cersei Sansa showdown.
Definitely, and that's what Viper Wren was saying in the chats. Basically, no, Arumi is saying yes. The Cersei and Sansa showdown is what
Yes.
we need, and I told her I agree.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And what if
I've always believed. I do want to say this. It's not too often. I don't do big theory videos and stuff like that, but it's not often I just say yeah for sure, 100%. But Sansa's the younger, more beautiful queen, not Daenerys.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, for Daenerys, and I think we spoke about it before, Jen, right? Like, everybody sees Dany as, this beautiful. I mean, they showed her. They showed Dany.
Viper Wren. Viper Wren is with us in the chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Dany is shown as this, beautiful young girl growing up, going through all this stuff, and we see her become more powerful, and maybe we want more power to be given to women there. But Sansa is becoming powerful too, and she's beautiful too.
She's Cersei in her years, and even now, and that's why I know in the day is fucking beautiful. Sansa, Sophie, beautiful. Daenerys, attractive. Natalie Dormer, attractive, and a certain je ne sais quoi about her, like the way she makes those little smirks. But more beautiful than Cersei. The only one, in my opinion, that rates that is Sansa.
Yeah, I mean, Dany may have her fire in the dragons, but Sansa has the fire in her hair and fire in her eyes, especially when she's thinking about something. So they're both on fire somehow.
Hey, Angelina, hi. She just entered the chat.
Do you guys remember the scene at the Dragon Pit where Cersei and Daenerys were meeting for the first time?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And that meeting, it was so awesome because Cersei completely owned that. Daenerys could hardly utter more than 3 words. She did a big entrance with the dragon, but Cersei completely owned that scene, and I absolutely loved that. It really showed that Cersei is way superior with her mind and everything, and I really absolutely think that Sansa is the younger queen, who will take Cersei down with her own weapons.
I completely agree with that. Yeah. We had a conversation before with Jen, and we agreed that for the actress that plays Cersei, they better give her good death. They better make her act her heart out, because I was laughing, like being so amazed at how she can portray all kinds of emotions within like 5 seconds. When Marcella was died, and she didn't say a word, but she didn't need to say anything. The way just her eyes and her face, they only showed her face, and she played out everything from joy to complete agony. So they're gonna kill her probably. When they kill her, they better give her something that she can really.
I tell you what, that's Cersei. Baby, you say it best when you say nothing at all, okay? I love Atlina Headey. Damn. I did go to the parallel about the fact that they basically both lose faith in gods. Now, I believe Sansa still prays just because it's something soothing to her, because she grew up doing it. But Jon, I bet you he don't, unless, it's like one of those oh God moments. I bet you, Jon, you don't catch him down in the God's wood or whatever. But we know for a fact, Sansa, she tells, in the show especially, she tells somebody she only goes for the Godwood because it's the only people don't talk to her or stare at her. But I believe she prays more out of the ritual, and whereas Jon, he has other things he'd rather be doing.
Yeah.
So there's a parallel about them both kind of losing faith in the gods.
It's just showing that it's just an example, of their very kindred spirits. I think their similar mentality, and like I said, they're really connected in mind and spirit, and I think that's really, really very, very important for any future union, that they have kind of like the same ideals, the same mentality about certain things. So that was just an example of many, many things that link them in their minds and in their spirit, and I think that's really, really very nice.
Jen, we also there's something, I don't know, we probably caught it too. I think we spoke about it before too, with because the reunion was so powerful between Jon and Sansa, but then the farewell when he went off and she stayed behind, that was kind of that was powerful too. The looks that he gave her, and for Berta, you mentioned the snow, meaning falling, or kisses, like snow kisses on Sansa's face. That was amazing too. Like the whole scene. It was like brother sister, but not exactly.
Yeah, there are a lot of their scenes. There's a lot of their scenes are filmed in snow with snowflakes. The reunion, it was snowing there. When they said goodbye, it was snowing there. The we need to trust each other scene, of course, it was snowing there. I think it's really a very, very nice trope, and with lots of meaning. And concerning the look back when Jon left Winterfell, that was a very big contrast to when he was leaving Dragonstone, because he couldn't give two shits about looking back at Daenerys. Whereas he looked back at Sansa when he was leaving Winterfell, which I don't think was a coincidence. What do you think?
Jen, you wanted to add to that too? I'll wait for Jen, but for me, again, your video, and people who didn't, everybody in the chat or who's watching it on their playback, do go watch Rita's video. It's just amazing, and I can't say it enough times. But in your video, you mentioned, I don't know if you mentioned it or you just, that was the time when you showed the clips of where, you know, he's saying goodbye to her. And again, I'm gonna repeat it, but it was the taste of snow, how it felt, like the kisses on her face of snow just falling on her face. So it just reminded me again, kind of hinting to the fact that brother sister kind of, they don't know, I mean brother sister in a way, but they don't know it yet. Nobody knows it, just like Jon doesn't know about Dany being his aunt, and people are kind of a lot of people are offended. Oh my gosh, it's his aunt. But when you look at the cousins, because Jon and Sansa are cousins, so it's not as bad back then. I mean, it happened. I mean, Tywin and his wife, aren't they cousins? And we're completely fine with them being married and having children. And there are many more examples. So when they find out the fact that they are cousins versus aunts and a nephew, that is completely going to be different. Kind of saying it's okay.
Yeah,
Plus,
you know,
they were-
Ned, you know, and Ned Stark's parents were cousins as well. And I think we really need to stop looking at this with our modern perspective. Cousin marriage is really perfectly normal in Westeros. And like you said, I know a lot of people are saying, yeah, but they are constantly calling each other brother and sister at the moment. And yeah, they're doing this, but you know, what else are they supposed to call each other? They think they're brother and sister. And I think they are really kind of maybe overcompensating for whatever might be developing between them. You know, they have to constantly remind each other that they're brother and sister.
Yeah. Plus, when they're being reminded that, we still know that they were not, I mean, they were raised under the same roof, but they never spoke. And I don't know if you mentioned that or if this is something that Jen and I talked about before, but they don't even have a scene together in the first season. They're never interacting. So that kind of puts them as strangers in a way. Kind of now when they're coming back together, they're kind of rediscovering who they are now and remembering who they were before. But they were strangers before, and now they're in a way strangers too, kind of meeting each other for the first time.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're very formal with each other, which, like you said, Fire Witch could also be kind of reverse psychology in themselves. You know, like don't even go there. So we formally call each other brother, sister. You know, it's not like the way he played around with Aya, who he actually felt of as his little sister.
One thing, Squashed Eyeball in the chat was saying that for Jon and Sansa to happen, they would only have 6 episodes left. I heard that argument a few times, and I think it's really, I think it's, I don't want to say, yeah, I think it's not really working, because Jon and Sansa, their relationship started in season 6, episode 4. They were built up ever since. They developed a very close relationship since then, and it wouldn't happen just in 6 episodes in season 8, because it already started. You know, the seeds were planted. I would say they just, you know, if they knew that they were cousins, they could finally act on it. But at the moment, they still have to repress anything they might be feeling. So I don't think it would happen in 6 episodes in season 8.
Yeah, with that,
It already started.
With that, I'm thinking, because I kind of can't see all the, you know, the whole entire thing ending without any flashbacks or flash forwards. In a way, maybe we won't see it in regular timeline, but maybe what if it happens later on when things settle down and Jon is, you know, hopefully maybe left alive and Sansa's left alive. So again, this is kind of either, and I'm getting it mixed up. I'm not sure if you mentioned it, Brita, or if Jen mentioned it when we were speaking, that they need to combine the South and the North. And Sansa is the heir to the North, and Jon, in a way, is North and the South. Whereas Danny is to the south, and Jon, by looking at his father's line, also to the south, kind of in the north. So when Sansa and Jon would be together, it would kind of form a formal pact. So maybe marriage out of necessity later on top of marriage for their feelings if they develop any.
Okay, look, there's a question from Rich Shatwell in the chat, and this is something I knew you were going to get asked because it was one of the questions I came to in my head too. So one of the things I love most about your video is you go, Aya, Faya Hexa, you crazy YouTuber. I know, but what about the magical baby? And we have Rich Shatwell in the chat asking, so there's not going to be any child, any magical baby, and Viper Wren says she thinks that she's going to miscarry.
I think it's a very big red herring, because every time we get hit onto the head with stuff like this, it really screams red herring to me. But even if she as a baby, that guarantee, because either she's dying in childbirth or later, and then we would just have another nice Ned and Catelyn parallel with Jon and Sansa raising a bastard. So I don't really see what a magic baby, even if Daenerys is pregnant, what exactly does that achieve for the story? What does it
what
give?
about this scenario? Because this is what I always thought, honestly. Like, I never paired Jon and Sansa together. I thought she would probably more than likely end up with Tyrion, since technically they were still married, with the exception of the fact that it wasn't consummated. But if she asked him to not say anything, then as a gentleman, I believe Tyrion would say, okay, we'll remain married, especially in the show. Now, he's more of a bastard in the books and kind of abusive. But the only way I used to see the magical baby and she having a miscarriage, but also drawing this conclusion because her mother died in a miscarriage, Jon's mother died in a miscarriage.
But
Sansa's mother did not die in a miscarriage, though. So when we get to the children parallels, so do you think she might die, but there might still be a magical baby that might be raised elsewhere, perhaps?
I don't really see the point, because do you really want Daenerys to die in childbirth? I think that would be a pretty underwhelming death for her. And if she dies in childbirth, then what's the point of this baby?
Okay. Well, it was just a thought. A lot of people have drawn the parallel that any of those modern day pairings would produce possibly a fatal delivery.
What I was thinking on top of that is that okay, Dany always thought that she's gonna, well, not always, but ever since her brother died, she thought she's gonna be the ruler. She's gonna be the one doing this, doing that. She had a plan, but when Martin or George writes his stuff, whatever somebody has as a plan rarely happens.
Right.
So I would not be surprised if if Dany died in childbirth, because just because you have a plan for life and you have goals and you say, okay, I'm gonna do this, do that, and even here now these days that doesn't happen. You may have a plan to be whoever, and no matter what you do, you will not reach it sometimes.
I can get on board with that.
Yes. So for her dying, that would be really bad death, just like Marjorie died. She had all this plan and we were counting on this and that, and then boom, she's gone. Just like that. So I would not be surprised if she died. It would be terrible, but everything over there is not the serious, but things are just terrible. Lives are terrible over there. And as far as Jon and Sansa, the baby may survive, and the baby may need well, obviously will need parents, somebody to take care of the baby. But what about Sansa? I mean, she went through so much with Ramsay, and what if he did stuff to her that can prevent her from becoming pregnant? I mean, he abused her, and she said that she's still hurting. She can still feel the whatever she called it, pain. It still pains her.
She said, what he did to me?
Yes.
He hurt me, yes, but I still feel it, the pain
Yes.
in my body, not because of my tender heart,
but
because of what he did to me.
Exactly. And he was raping her all that time. So for I don't know how long. I mean, her not getting pregnant, that's kind of like, I wonder why she's not getting pregnant. Nobody's giving her Moonty or anything. At least we don't know about that. She should technically get pregnant, especially because of Catelyn. She's healthy, and according to her mother's history, she should have a very fruitful life too. And she's not pregnant. At least we don't know that. We don't know anything about her being pregnant.
Right.
So who knows? Maybe they will need a baby to be an heir, and maybe Donnie's. My gosh, Jon and Dany's baby will be an heir from south and from the north. The baby Sansa will not be able to have. Who knows?
Maybe Ramsay just can't produce any babies.
True. Yeah, because we don't know anything about him fathering babies or anybody needing to drink Moonty.
I know that so many people were thinking that Sansa is pregnant because Ramsay said, "You can't kill me. I'm a part of you now." But I think
yes.
If she was pregnant, she would really show by now.
Oh yeah, definitely. Plus, if she didn't want to be pregnant, I guess they do have that maester there that can give her whatever she needs to have to make sure she.
Pennyroyal, Mandrake. There's a bunch of stuff back in the day that
Exactly.
I think Cersei probably they have, what do they call it in Game of Thrones? Moon tea.
Yeah, Moonty.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Marie says she wanted to pop in, and y'all, this is a rare treat. Marie has her own YouTube channel, some very great theories. She's really good. She's from Australia. She wanted to jump in, so here she is. Marie?
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yeah, hear you well.
Yeah, I heard you all making points in there, and I was busting to get up, but my computer started to play up. I don't know whether it's Google. One of the points I wanted to bring up was the whole Maggie the prophecy, and why I think Cersei could be the next queen is because Maggie told her that she would take away everything that she loved, that Cersei loved. Well, Cersei's greatest love was Joffrey. I think he was her favourite child. And the only person that had a hand in Joffrey, even albeit it wasn't knowingly, was Sansa. Daenerys had nothing to do with it. Brienne had nothing to do with it. Sansa had a hand in it.
Yeah, and Jaime is at the moment. He left Cersei, and as far as we know, he's probably going north, and he's going to pledge his sword to Sansa. So Sansa will, at the end, even have taken Jaime from her.
Yeah, and that's another point I want to make too. Was Sansa also sent Brienne down there, who basically convinced Jaime to choose the side of the living, because she basically says, "F honor. This is to do with survival," and I think that convinces him. So in a way, in unknowingly, Sansa's been had a hand in both taking Joffrey away from her and Jaime, and to me that convinces me that she is the one that Maggie prophesied. And the fact that Cersei never thinks it's Sansa. She thinks it's Marjorie. She thinks it could be Dany, but she never really thinks it's Sansa, because Sansa to her is stupid.
Yeah.
And so she underestimates Sansa. So to me,
She calls her little
I'm sorry.
dove. I'm sorry. So I remember her calling her little dove. So what are doves? You know, innocent. They
Bird
can be
brains.
eaten by hawks, and exactly.
To me, that's another word for bird brain.
True.
Yeah, out of all the people, Cersei actually speaks more about Sansa being stupid probably than any other topic to do with Sansa.
Yeah.
Right. So to me, that if we're to take Maggie's prophecy seriously, I that's where I think it stands, because she's had a hand in the killing of Joffrey and the taking away of Jaime, and it's the two people that she really loved the most.
Mm.
And power, of course. Sansa may also have a hand in taking away her power, because that's Cersei's third love, is power.
Yeah, hopefully, I'm hoping, I'm still very much for Sansa somehow having, you know, her hands in Cersei's death, maybe by Jon, somehow by Jon. I mean,
She's already.
Jon being her prince or her
Sorry.
hero. Go ahead.
I definitely think I've always thought it was going to be Jaime or some manifestation of Jaime. That's just the way I read it. I'm going to be really, really shocked and stuff and surprised if they do it a different way. But I don't know. I hope that's also when I heard one time that he changed stuff when he thought people had stuff figured out. It upset me. I'm like, don't do that. Just write what you want. You're gonna. I understand writing can evolve, but don't start changing the story up just because everybody in God thinks they know how it ends.
You know, with that, I wanted to add something because everybody has a theory and they're great theories. They are just amazing. And I always wish, okay, is there a way of having it done so not everybody, but if some of the theories can be proven in a way at the end. And I was having a discussion at one of the channels, and we spoke about what if they do the multiple endings? What if they do that? Release it. That was one thing to maybe make people happy, although some would be not so happy because you want to have an actual ending. You don't want to have two endings, some people said. You want it to be whatever it is, be the ending.
Okay.
So my other comment was, what if at the end, when everything is done, what if Bran is looking through time? Like, you know, he can see past, future, present. What if he sees all possibilities, like anything that can ever happen? What if he sees different choices people make and different people killing her? Kind of like looking at different perspectives in time. So I'm just wondering if we ever are going to see one thing or multiple endings. What do you think about that?
I don't think they will do these multiple endings stuff. I think that would be really way too confusing, and I think it's I no, I don't think so. What do you guys think?
I hope as hell they don't. I mean, they need to just have one really spectacular ending and put all their effort into that and stick to that. I mean, if maybe they show in some deleted scenes or maybe even, I don't know, they need to have one really awesome ending. It needs to be going somewhere. Um, I know they're different than the books, but still, it needs to be something similar, at least in my opinion. Not like way out of left field. And they better not do none of this crap where they do like a drop off, where they drop it off and don't really explain everything, trying to be really profound. I call those movies drop offs. I hate that shit.
Yeah.
When it comes to the Valancourt, I actually don't want it to be Jaime or Tyrion. I want to be shocked. And there's a scene with the High Sparrow where before he dies, when Cersei doesn't show up for him at the Septon, and he said what the god's justice, and the warrior will take care of it or something. I can't. To me, the warrior is Jon, and he is the younger son of Rhaegar and the younger brother of Aegon. The Aegon the First, his first brother, and is it Rhaenyra? I get muddled up in Targaryen names. Rhaenyra. And so I would actually love it to be Jon that does Ren, and Sansa's already kind of digging at Jon a little bit. She's warning him of Cersei, which to me, Cersei's going to do something to make Jon really go after her. But I don't want to do this.
I was having some issues with sounds. I didn't hear the last two sentences you said. Can you repeat that? I'm not sure if the chat heard you.
Yeah, I don't want it to be Jaime or Tyrion because to me it's too obvious. It's the younger brothers, whereas Jon is a younger brother of Aegon, the first Aegon that got killed by the Mountain, and Rhaenyra. But it probably will be Jaime because I think that's where they're going with it. I think they wanted Jaime and Cersei. It's kind of been leading up to it, but I really would like to see it to be Jon. We lost. No,
yeah, she's gonna try to log in again. Yeah,
I just clicked. Yeah, I just clicked on the link. At the top it says join.
Okay. Yeah, hopefully she'll click back to that. But I also wanted to add, like when you mentioned Jon, originally I think I mentioned it before. I really wanted in the beginning I wanted Arya to be the one, changing faces, killing Cersei and all that with Jaime's face. But then thinking about Sansa, I want Jon to be Sansa's hero, and Sansa, all her troubles, all her pains were in a way as a result of how Cersei was treating her. So I want Sansa to learn from Cersei, to take the lesson, to learn it, and to use whatever she had to go through because of Cersei and use it against Cersei by maybe not be. She's a lady, so I don't see her killing Cersei with her hand, but I see somebody doing it for her. For example, Jon being the one doing it. And Arya and Jon were said that they look so similar. They look like Stark. So it's kind of the similarities between Jon and Arya would kind of make it, maybe not.
Well, it's kind of it's kind of Ned's words coming back. That was it. He who swings the sword. He who takes life or something swings the sword.
Exactly. Passes the sentence, needs to swing or something. Yeah, with the sword. Exactly.
Yeah.
So
And,
Arya.
Jon,
go ahead.
Yeah, Jon embodies that. I'm sorry if I'm interrupting. I've got lag.
Oh no, yeah, it's the lag. We have a bit of a lag here. So like with Sansa, she passed the sentence, and Arya was swinging not the sword, but she did what she had to do, and now again, Sansa being a lady, she will pass the sentence, but hopefully maybe my wish will come true, and Jon will be the one killing Cersei for her.
No, well, people go. I've seen other tubers convinced that Sansa's going to die, and because of she didn't do much last season. Well, to be honest, I thought they were building her up to be queenly. She acted more queenly than Daenerys, who was full of titles as usual, and Cersei, who wants this and wants that. But she's basically really only queen of King's Landing, and it's Sansa that was acting in a professional kind of queenly manner. Do they have enough food? Are the soldiers going to be warm enough when the snow really hits? She was the one that, to me, was acting queenie and being built up towards something. I've always seen her arc being built up towards something. It's not that she's just lolling about doing nothing. And it's what she said too earlier about her always wanting to marry a hero. And I heard that and I was trying to get into it on my computer, but my computer was playing. I'm thinking, oh, yes, the last hero.
Yeah.
Not the last hero, the hero that she was hoping for, and then it's Jon that swung the sword and killed Jenna Slint. And I'm thinking, well, there is a big hint.
Yeah, I mean, Jon being the last hero in a way for her.
Yeah. And to me, that really spoke to me. But what really got me with, I'm going to butcher your name, I'm sorry for your Hex, is Ned and Catelyn 2.0. And I'm thinking, yes.
Guys, can you still hear me?
Yep, we can.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and I completely agree with all of what y'all were just saying. And Fire Witch has been kicked out of the chat. Oh, there she's back. Okay.
I'm back.
Good. Okay, now we can really. Okay, yeah. Okay.
What were you talking about?
Yeah, somebody, what do y'all tell her what we were talking about? She's got some good points on this too. They were talking about how Sansa, not only is she become a good person and whatnot, but she's also queenly. And yeah, maybe the people loved Marjorie because that's the best queen example we've seen thus far. But they would love Sansa, and not because she goes out amongst them and is all too friendly, though she's nice and kind, but because she does things to help, to ensure. She worries about putting up food and fodder for the horses and the armor and all the things that you would think the lady of a castle would care about, because if you are the lady of the castle, then the people who live within it are your responsibility if you take your job seriously, and you owe them protection for their service.
Exactly. So you were talking Sansa in season 7 and her awesome rulership.
Yes.
Yeah, it's really, Sansa is really, out of these 3 queens, she's really the only one who is really doing what a queen should do. She is taking care of her people. She's managing stuff on a day-to-day basis. She's thinking long-term. She does paperwork. She actually sitting down and does paperwork, something that queens must deal with as well. Yeah, she's really pretty much the only one who's really getting shit done at the moment. Really important shit. So yeah, I absolutely agree.
Yeah, and she's doing it right too, because something tells me Cersei gets one of those people, just like Robert. Cersei was like Robert. She didn't do her own paperwork. She put on a better front than Robert. But Sansa's the only one we've even seen that, aside from maybe Lady Olenna, would be probably the best example. And Sansa did learn a bit off of Lady Olenna.
Yeah. Tywin Lannister was the same. He was raised really, and he was doing this day-to-day paperwork as well. And Lady Olenna and Sansa is doing the same. So it really shows that you are, you are really doing what really matters. Being a queen doesn't mean that you are sitting on a throne all day, or that you are, sitting on a dragon and shouting Dracarys. It means that you are really focusing on, the really pressing, important matters at the moment. It doesn't mean starting yet another war.
Exactly. It's not glamorous. Yeah, you do need to know the territories, the sigils, the best places to strike in battle, what houses would probably be loyal to you if push came to shove and they were offered a better position in life. And she learned those things from Cersei, and then she learned other things from Tyrion, but also Arya. Arya learned from Tywin. Arya learned from Syrio Forel. Arya learned from Yarwin. Arya learned from a lot of people as well. But the Stark sisters do parallel in that they get some of the best mentorships probably available in Westeros for their chosen professions.
Exactly, and we actually do have a comment about it here in the comments. Viper Ren says Sansa is the only one caring about food stores and her people properly clothed, warm for the winter war. So that again reminds me about what Sansa said, that she wants to be. I think she said something not feared, but she wants to be loved by her people.
Yeah.
So that is making. That is a person who people shouldn't be hating on that. I mean, she's not, badass person. Exactly. Yeah.
There's a quote that she says about that, Fire Witch. You had it in the video about how Cersei told her it was always important to have your subjects fear you more than they loved you. And Sansa thinks to herself, no, I always heard it's better to have them love you because you treat them kindly and fair.
Yeah.
And wow, that's the kind of queen I'm being. She imagines that, Sansa has a lot of inner dialogue.
Yeah, and that's exactly what she was doing in season 7, because she also very importantly made sure that that the Northern Lords wouldn't turn on Jon. She made sure that he still got an army, that he would keep his army, and that is really something that that is really, really very, very important. And yeah, I don't. At the moment, I think at the moment in season 7, she's not really thinking about being loved, but she's thinking about doing what needs.
Okay, have I lost sound?
Oh, I think there's again some sound issues.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
I just wondered if I lost sound. I'm thinking, oh my goodness, if it's gone dead, if I lost sound. Yeah, I'll agree with go along with what you girls have been saying. And also in the books, when she watches Cersei and she says, "When I'm queen, I'll do things differently. I'll make the people love me." So Sansa kind of, she's not this she's got to act passive, because if she acts aggressive, like it's true what they said in the show, if Arya had been in King's Landing, she wouldn't have lasted 5 minutes. Her head would be sitting next to Ned's. And if she'd had to marry Ramsay Bolton, again, he would have skinned her alive, because she just wouldn't have been able to tolerate that kind of thing. But Sansa did. She's not a passive character. She watches and she learns. A line that was used on Jaime kind of reminds me, and Sansa uses it herself in the show, is that I'm a slow learner, but I do learn. And Jaime basically says the same thing to Olenna, or Olenna says to him.
To Olenna, he tells her a little story before he gives her the drink or whatever that takes her life. When she asked him why Tywin didn't go ahead and just take their stuff a long time ago.
Yeah, so to me, like Sansa's not as Arya's very easy to play in that she's aggressive and she's really out there, whereas with Sansa it's everything is internal, and they've got to do it through her clothes. I mean, what was it, season 5? She came down, and everyone thought, oh, we've got Darth Sansa. Yeah. And then the next season, everything was ruined because she goes and marries Ramsay. Which really showed her up stupid. And I hated that storyline. I hated it.
And the truth is, things might have turned out a lot differently if Ramsay had just treated her with some respect.
But
really, she would have been happy though for him to have ignored her, give her the run of the castle, let her do her duties, and she wouldn't have cared if he would have had Miranda on the side. But he played those cards all wrong. Ramsay was his own worst enemy. Not that we're talking about Ramsay, but in the shows, Ramsay was his own worst enemy.
Yeah,
so to me, Sansa is kind of learning. And when you were gone, I'm going to put your name here, Farah Hex. Sorry. What really got me with your video is the whole Ned and Catelyn 2.0.
Yeah,
I really loved it. And when I watched your video, point by point, you showed us how it is Ned and Cat 2.0. I'm thinking, oh yes, and that would shock everybody if Jon ends up with Sam. It would, and I would love it.
No, it would. It would, and I think that as well. And I don't know. Just there are so many comparisons that they basically think alike, even though they were so different. And it's almost like the Catelyn 2.0 would then, I don't know, even if he'll never admit it, would feel in his heart, the fact that Sansa is very much like Caitlin, and under different circumstances, things would have been very different, and it's no fault of his own, which is one of his heart's desires, is to feel belonged. They both talk about feeling out of place at different parts in the video and in the show.
Yeah, I really don't think it's a coincidence that Jon and Sansa have these very, very similar fantasies, romantic fantasies about their home, about their family, about their children. They basically complete each other's fantasies. Then we have these countless Ned and Cat parallels. Them getting portrayed as Ned and Cat reloaded. Then we have, them teaming up and reclaiming Winterfell. Then we have, the fact that the last book was originally titled A Time for Wolves. I mean, it's not quite,
Whose sound was that?
I don't think it was me.
I don't think so either.
Yeah,
Eleanor?
No, I was muted.
Okay. All right.
So did you hear what I just said?
Oh no, yeah, I did.
Okay.
Did everybody else hear it too?
What do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
You go ahead, Eleanor.
I'm sorry, I lost I was reading something. I lost the last sentences you were saying.
Yeah, I was watching the chat. I'm sorry.
No. I just need a sentence to kind of refresh my memory.
What do you think? Do you think it's a coincidence that we have all these,
No, I don't believe in coincidence.
No.
I don't,
It is really nicely painted. I mean, it's
twice
so
is a coincidence, 3 times is a pattern,
Yeah, and in your video you had so many facts about it that is really difficult to dispute. I mean, Sansa and Jon, and then Kate or Cat and Ned mirroring. This is amazing, and I have never heard about. And in your video, you have a complete case for it. You presented it perfectly. So
That's what I told her. I
yeah.
said, you cited this and you cited that, and you took this quote from this book and that book, and you pointed out the cinematography on the shows, and yeah, and it all does add up and play into that. This was one of my favorite videos in a long time. Of course, I am a Sansa fan.
I mean, of course, you don't have to believe that this will really happen, but yeah, it would. I really wonder if all this is really supposed to be a coincidence. It makes so much narrative sense, and yeah, like I said, it's really pointing into a certain direction, and yeah, I don't think it's
I feel like there aren't that many coincidences in life. I mean, and that's coming from Jen, the person, your friend. I don't feel like there are that many coincidences in a regular, normal, middle-class life in the suburbs of New Orleans. So, and even in, fantasy or sci-fi Westeros, I don't believe there are that many coincidences. I don't.
Yeah, and I think there's a reason why they made Jon basically Ned 2.0, and he's more of a Stark than any of the Trueborn Stark kids. And I think they didn't do that because he's going to be Aegon Targaryen at the end of the story. They're doing this because he will be Jon Stark. I'm really absolutely sure, because that's what he always wanted, and it would be a perfect closure for his arc.
Okay, well, do you guys, since we went there, Firewitch, you think it's cool to talk about the tourney at Ashford and the parallels there?
Yeah.
Okay.
Can I just add to what you've been saying?
Yeah.
I just think the author had changed the subject, because remember his original was that Arya would be the one that Jon and Tyrion fight over, and I thought there's a real ooh factor with that. It's kind of like ooh, because Arya and Jon were so close, and I think as he was writing the book, he got to see how they were becoming like brother and sister, and there would be a real ooh, like no. And I just think he swapped sisters, and there's a reason why he kept the separation between Jon and Sansa. I mean, he doesn't even say goodbye to her. She's the only one he doesn't say goodbye to. I think there was
ask a question. Let me ask a question, and I might sound stupid, but I gotta ask. We know that Aegon the First, the Conqueror, married both of his sisters. Do y'all see in any way, maybe not in the show, but in the books, where he actually does end up either with both Dany and Sansa, or married to both?
Well,
I had this theory before. Aegon Targaryen and his sister wives, Visenya, who was very much like Arya, and Rhaenys, very much like Sansa, a lady. And I don't think it will happen because I don't think Jon would suddenly be okay with having 2 wives. And I absolutely don't think. Absolutely, I'm 100% certain he would never marry Daenerys because I don't think she will even survive until the end of the story. I don't really see it happen. Yeah, what do you guys think?
I don't see Sansa. I mean, she would marry, but for love, and I can't see her considering love being a sister wife.
I don't know if I'm stepping on people here. Can I go next?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a real problem here because in 6 episodes we don't have enough time to explore Jon's feelings when he finds out that Dany is his aunt. But being a Stark and raised a Stark, incest is not going to sit well with him. I kind of have a problem that Dany has spent almost her entire half her life wanting the Iron Throne, getting there to Westeros and then finding out, oh, it's not hers, it belongs to another person. She's going to have an internal struggle with that. I just can't see. I hope he flex it out more in the books, but I can't see where Jon and Dany are going. Sorry, I can't hear you. What?
Go ahead. I'm just saying, fucking big time. That's going to destroy her in a way.
Yeah, and Jon, and also with the whole incest thing, they've been looking down on Jaime and Cersei throughout the whole show because of their incest. And I can't see Jon saying, okay, she's my aunt. Oh, so what? I mean, he's been brought up to be like a Ned Stark 2.0. And just the thought that Jon doesn't really want the crown, so he'll probably end up with it. She longs for that crown. She has wanted it. She has endured suffering for it, and all her titles lead to it. And I'm thinking this has been her entire life to want that Iron Throne. And I just can't see her saying, oh, well, I'm so in love with Jon Snow that I'm just going to let him have it.
Yeah,
I just hope there's that internal struggle that we see, that it should be really a shift and they should be really kind of against each other. But
yeah.
I don't know how that's going to play out. It's probably not enough time and they're going to just give us shock and awe through season. I'm not a great fan of season 7, I will admit it. And I just can't, I'm not really looking forward to season 8. I think they're going to stuff it up because they've already started on that roll, which is downhill to me, not uphill.
HBO does have a reputation of doing that. A lot of people were unhappy with True Blood and Boardwalk Empire the way they ended. Over 5 years of good shows, and then they just kind of I don't know, we're just bullshit at the end. And also, I thought the Sopranos ending was bullshit. And those onion rings they ate that they called the best onion rings in Jersey, you could tell there were those prefabbed onion rings that most fast food joints order. They just stuff up the final episodes of any HBO show. It seems like people say that about Tremaine. They say about it about the other one, the one set up in the northeastern city, The Wire. HBO just has a bad reputation for stuffing up the finales and the way they close out a show.
But I can see Sansa marrying politically because she's got past the romantic stage. I can see her making a political marriage just as Cat and Ned did. They weren't in love. They married for political reasons.
Exactly. They were not even supposed to get married. They were different people in their lives.
I don't think that Sansa, if Sansa ever marries ever again, and I think she will, that she will marry purely for political reasons. I don't think so. I think she married twice for political reasons, and I think she's really past the stage of letting anyone, kind of use her again. And I think if she marries again, it will be someone who she's also very, very fond of, and someone she might already be in love with. I don't think it's going to be another purely political marriage for her.
What if she decide, because before in the past she never had a say in it. She just did as she was told. What if this time she decides to marry whoever, Jon, hopefully, for whatever reason she has? She's the one in power. She's the one saying yes to it. Do you see that?
I think Sansa will be the one who will propose marriage to Jon when she finds out about his parentage. I think she will be the one who will offer it to to secure his position in the north, his position among the northern lords, to protect him, to make him a Stark. Yeah, I think she will play a major role there.
What about Jon when he said that he does not want to father bastards? Would you think that he would marry Daenerys before the baby's born, or if it's born, just to make sure that they at least were married while she was pregnant, to make sure it's not a bastard? What do you think about that?
I think it's kind of funny that I know a lot of people are saying this, that he will marry Daenerys because he never wanted to father a bastard, and I think I would absolutely hate that, because I think he deserves better than to be baby trapped by his aunt. And I think if that's really the only thing that ties him to Daenerys, that would be a little very, very unsatisfying for his character, and I would absolutely hate that. And I don't think it will happen anyway, but I would absolutely hate that.
Yeah, I agree with that. I never liked Jon and Jenny, to be honest. I really didn't want to see it happen. Then when it happened, my heart sank, because I'm thinking, oh no, because it was that ooh factor. I wasn't wrapped up in their romance. It happened too quickly, and then they knocks on her door, and I'm thinking, ooh, it's your aunt. It didn't have that romantic feel to me.
I didn't care for it either.
Do you guys really think that Jon is in love with Daenerys?
No, I don't.
No.
I don't.
Actually, can I just say something? Kit, I picked up something the other day. Kit said in an interview that Jon has become smart and is learning to manipulate, even in a nice way, in a kind way. So I thought, is he manipulating?
Yeah, so what if that whole look, because when Tyrion was standing outside the door, he had this look, and then Jon, before he knocked on the door, he also had this look. What if, I'm just, thinking of it right now, what if Tyrion mentioned something to Jon to be smart and to make the move, basically?
I'm absolutely sure about that. It's all really playing into this political Jon theory that I will hopefully be able to do a video about. I'm really sure that Tyrion and Jon might be in on this, and that they might have had a little off-screen talk. Yeah, because remember in, I think it was in episode 5, where Varys told Tyrion that Tyrion needs to find a way to make Daenerys listen, and then in an episode later, Tyrion said to Daenerys, "Hey, Jon Snow is in love with you," to maybe soften her, to make her act less impulsive. And then Jon did the final act and slept with her, because it was really the last straw that he could cling to get her attention, to get her focused on the north, on the mission north, because he knows, of course, that she's impulsive as well. So he was noticing that she was kind of crushing on him, and he, like Kit Harington said, that Jon is really, he's manipulating people in a very kind way.
Mm-hmm. I have something to say about this, y'all, next, if you don't mind. Go ahead. Go ahead, Fire Witch. I just wanted to say that.
And that, of course, was leading to scenes like Jon leaving Dragonstone without even turning back to her, and Jon leaving Dragonstone after he referred to himself as a stranger, which means he still considers them strangers. And then in the next scene, he's suddenly supposed to be head over heels in love with her just because she saved his people from a mission which was mainly her fault. They went beyond the wall because of her, because she insisted on this truce with Cersei, so they had to capture her. And then at the end, he knocks on her door, and they have a very, very unromantic, terrible sex without any romance, without any without distance, and where he was looking like he was about to have a panic attack. And in order to do a crop cut with Prentice, with
What I thought was funny was that what? What I thought was funny was the way all up until this time, Daenerys has had paramours. You know, she's had lovers, and Jon hasn't, except for with the exception of Gret. And I feel like, I mean, this video did change my opinion. The more I think about it, you know, Jon's not one to just sleep around with anybody. And then he could have slept with Val, who is supposedly, I think some would consider more attractive than Daenerys, but having those similar looks. And he still chose the redheaded girl.
yeah.
Plus, I know just in real life, some guys have things for redheads, and they'll go an extra mile to do shit and take shit from a redhead that they wouldn't take from a blonde-headed woman, a brown-headed woman, a black-headed woman, or what have you. I mean, it's just their preference. My brother's one of them. He loves him a redhead. Some of that kiss by fire.
Yeah.
I don't even think that Jon even was survive, because you know he was fighting where he wrote
like green hair?
it's like Paris. I don't even think he will make it his life. So maybe that also played a role in why he did it.
I don't know if anyone's. I hope I'm not stepping on anyone, but it's gone silent. And also, kind of what convinced me too from your video too is the Littlefinger and Jon scene where he grabs Littlefinger by the throat, and I'm thinking, you know, that's an act of a lover. Even when I was watching, I'm thinking like, whoa, it's like so Ned and Cat.
I think we all agree on this one. If you say that, I know me and people and LMR agree on this one. I mean, that was not like "Don't touch my sister." That was like "Mother Beeper, I'll kill you." You know what I mean? That was like definitely the act of someone who has a crush on somebody or loves somebody who is not just taking up for their dear sister. Truly.
Yeah. And also the way Littlefinger came out like
and Ned had the same way towards Littlefinger at the brothel.
Yeah, and when Littlefinger came out of that, he kind of had an expression on his face like, whoa, I never saw that coming, because he could see that there was more Jon's feelings towards Sansa than Jon knows himself. And then he kind of, in the vid with what Forex did, is that he goes up and he kind of drops Dany's name into the conversation, and then he watches her reaction to see if Sansa feels the same way. I don't think Sansa and Jon are aware of their feelings towards each other yet.
I don't either.
But also, to bring up another point, which is way back in history, Targaryens never fulfilled their pact of ice and fire. Stark was supposed to marry a Targaryen hundreds of years ago, and that was never fulfilled. And perhaps it will be through Jon and Sansa, because he's part Targaryen.
Exactly. I mean, and that makes so much sense. And that's, okay, so Lyanna and Rhaegar marry, and it ends terribly. And then Lyanna was supposed to marry Robert, and that ends terribly, even to the point of he's wanting to kill any Targaryen and he can get his hands on terribly. But the fact that, it could be fulfilled with Sansa. And now I think it's a good time, Fire Witch, for you to tell us about the comparisons to the tourney at Ashford and the champions of the day, and how they mirror Sansa's suitors, betrothals, and lovers or people.
Yeah. This Ashford theory is kind of like the most popular theory in this Jon Sansa theory. It's basically going back to the first novella of the first Duncan Egg novella of George R. R. Martin, where he has Duncan Egg attend a tourney at Ashford, in celebration of the 13th name day of the daughter of Lord Ashford. And at this tourney, there were 5 champions who were defending the honor of Lady Ashford. And these 5 champions had very interesting names. There was a Tyrell, Leo Tyrell, and Talbot Lannister, and Humphrey Harding, and yeah, a Lannister, a Tyrell, a Harding, and the last suitor was a Targaryen. So yeah, these names are of course very familiar because they really mirror the names of Sansa's suitors. So the theory is that Sansa's last suitor is going to be a Targaryen, and also the Targaryen in the novella had a dark hair. So it's a really, really interesting theory. What do you guys think?
It looks like right now we're just waiting for the Targaryen part to happen.
Yeah.
Meaning Jon.
You go ahead.
Oh no, I was just saying that all of them seem to be done. I mean, for Jon is, you know, we keep thinking about him as Stark, but not anymore. So he's the last puzzle to it.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of like what I think it's in the Tyrion chapter somewhere, and I have to paraphrase again, so I don't remember. Are we dancing the same dance that our grandparents danced? Kind of like history repeating itself over and over and over, and that's probably what the Ashford theory to me looks like. It's just history repeating over and over, because that was in the Duncan Egg, wasn't it?
Yeah, and it would be really a very great coincidence that these names really reflect Sansa's suitors, because like really George R. R. Martin added a Harding, not really the most famous house, and yeah, Targaryen, and yeah, a Baratheon, a Tyrell, a Lannister. It would be really a great coincidence if you just used some random names and they happen to completely mirror Sansa's suitors, you know?
Yeah, and with that, the whole history repeating. Again, there was some. I'm always in comments. So we were chatting at one of the other channels about. So what happens to the history? I mean, it's thousands of years over there, and in our history, just a couple hundreds of years, and the technology is booming, and over there. It's like everything keeps to be repeating, but there's no progress in a way. Everything seems to be staying the same, even though there's prosperity, this and that. The life and the history just doesn't change. The names keep changing and sometimes repeating, and the history keeps going on and on as if it's going in circles, as if they're not going forward at all. And it's been thousands and thousands of years over there. So just the thoughts about that.
I definitely think we're getting a lot of repeats. Definitely. And I think the reason is because that really is how the world is. History repeats itself. You know, that's proven. And I believe that's a reoccurring theme. And I also said the other night on book club that a definite reoccurring theme to this story is don't judge a book by its cover or how high a shelf it is put on. Because, you know, like what we said at the very beginning, we see Sansa basically the second highest position for a lady at court in King's Landing, Jon going as a hated bastard, and then they both turn it around, it gets turned around opposite.
Yeah. And for the history repeating aspect, if we can go back to the Littlefinger Jon scene for a moment, that was kind of history repeating itself for Littlefinger, because he was kind of losing yet another Tully or Stark woman, another Tully woman to a Stark in that moment.
Yeah.
You know. And can I ask you another question, because that scene, that Jon Littlefinger scene, because you guys said that you hadn't even thought about Jon and Sansa being a possibility before my video, was this scene, was it kind of, for me it was kind of like a confirmation. It kind of like really confirmed this for me, this scene, because I was like, wow, they're really they're really teasing this Jon's emotions in that scene. Was that the moment where you were thinking, Jon might be falling in love with Sansa, maybe?
Yep, absolutely.
Because a lot of I've noticed a lot of
And
people,
also,
a lot of people
and-
a lot of people kind of noticed that in this scene, that
Mhm.
maybe there's more behind his behavior.
And also back to the Battle of the Bastards when Jon and Sansa are in that tent. I felt more tension between those two than I did with Jon and Daenerys. And I'm thinking, even back then I thought, whoa, there's really tension here, like, whoa.
Definitely. And I tell you the tension, my biggest tense moment for them is when they have that little heart to heart. And she says, and he's upset with her for he says, you're undermining me. But she really wasn't. She really gave him a really big compliment because she knows Joffrey to be the worst person she's ever known. But she was genuinely worried about Jon. And even though she knows Jon has more experience and is a little different because he's grown up with common people, she's worried for Jon a lot. Like, I imagine she does a lot of pacing around a bit and stuff. And I just, as I say, I can't wait to see how she reacts to. I mean, I know she knew that he was going down there to make an ally. So Sansa, the lady that she is, will hold herself together. But y'all want to talk about tension? There's tension coming.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just what they're trying to portray, or if it's basically actors not clicking, because
I don't get that at all.
So they're supposed to not have that chemistry, right? Because I also didn't see it for between Dany and Jon. It was kind of.
Well, that's okay.
It was off, but for Sansa, now that you mention it, there was a lot of tension, like you said. Yeah.
Yeah, they were basically using all the romantic bonding tropes for Jon and Sansa, while they never even seemed to bother with Jon and Daenerys, because Jon and Daenerys had like 2 brief conversations about zombies and dragons, and that was it. And then he was leaving again without even turning back around to her. They easily could have written it in a believable manner, but for some reason they didn't. So I really have to wonder why, because maybe this allegedly epic love story of Jon and Daenerys is not a love story. Just because they had a 10-second sex scene that doesn't really equal love or logical endgame for me.
I agree, but I want to say this. We got a lot of our guys in the chat, Bubba Husky and Steven, say they are both San all the way.
Yeah.
Does anybody have anything to say about that?
So Sander being her hero, huh?
To me, it speaks of Sansa's emotional intelligence, in that Sandor was pretty closed down emotionally, and she was the only one to break through that really tough, hard exterior and get to the heart of the man, and wake him up to his own vulnerabilities and make him realise that basically what he said at the Battle of Backwater, you could tell that he was getting tired of being called dog.
Yeah.
He was getting tired of watching Sansa being beat up, and he just realised, I'm more than this. And I think he got that from Sansa. Like, to me, Sansa's always been emotionally intelligent, if not always particularly smart. Like, I know there is this thing that they hate Sansa because she killed Ned. No, Ned helped kill himself because, and Cat did too. Cat played a part because they trusted Littlefinger.
Yeah, they made plenty of mistakes. Now, and Sansa made the mistake of a child. She made the mistake of a child. They made the mistakes of grown adults.
Grown adults.
So it shaped Sansa into the person that she is. And that's like, I know me and you, Marie, we always thought after that, well, you know what? At least she has learned her lesson, though. Family is family and everyone else is not.
Well, she said, yeah, she's true. She said it to Littlefinger at the Weirwoods, that I always pray to be somewhere else, and she didn't realise what she had. And that makes me think that she's grown up, and people don't see her evolving. Like, she's forever evolving, and she's not stagnant. She's not stagnant.
I mean, when you become mature enough to realize, even Jamie, like when Jamie, I'm gonna go way off here, but when Jamie loaded that gold after decimating the Tullys, and Bronn said, "Yeah," says the man with all the gold, and he said, "Oh, this gold doesn't belong to me; it belongs to the Iron Bank." And then he said, "And let me tell you, trust me, the more you own, the more it weighs you down." And Sansa's been rich and had everything she could ask for, dressed in the most beautiful dresses, is one of the most beautiful characters we've been introduced to, and she's gotten past artifice like that and money to an extent. Now, don't get me wrong, you're not going to find her living in Maggie the Frog's shed by choice, but she doesn't have to be the queen anymore. She doesn't have to live in a big castle. Um, she can live.
She can help rebuild. She's got the tenacity and the ability, I think, to help Jon rebuild Westeros.
She's got the aptitude, the foresight, the want to, and she does have she, like Marjorie was good at being very fake at what Sansa actually is. And that's what bothered Cersei the most about Sansa, was because she knew Sansa was true blue. And it kind of got under Cersei's skin, because I think Cersei dreamed of growing up and being like that, but so many circumstances she let become soured by them, and Sansa has only bloomed for her bad circumstances, as she could have gone way different.
But that's true, Jen, and a lot of people miss this too. That in the book, Sansa warns Marjorie about the Lannisters, and then she thinks to herself, "Doesn't Marjorie realise there'll be blood in the streets if the Lion marries the Rose?" And then Sansa thinks, "Oh, but I'm just a stupid girl." But she was right. She was right. Marjorie went to her doom.
She also parallels Sam in the fact that she always downplays her intelligence, and so does he. And they are two. We know them to be two of the most brave and the most intelligent characters in the show.
Yep. But to go back to what Farrak said, that it was confirmed with me too when Jon grabbed Littlefinger. I thought, this is too much like Ned and Cat, and I just kind of think that when Daenerys arrives at Winterfell, will Sansa wake up? Do you think Sansa will wake up to how she's feeling towards Jon? Do you reckon?
Yeah, I think Jon and Sansa need kind of a trigger for them to do the first step. And I think this trigger is going to be Daenerys, and it's also going to be the parentage reveal, finding out that they are cousins. I think that will be the trigger for them to take the step towards the only political marriage for them, and to also act on their repressed feelings that they have for each other. I think
Sansa's going to be jealous as well. I think that Jon is going to notice the jealousy and realize I think he's going to see Daenerys is not as good for him as Sansa would be in a subtle way. And then I think they're going to find out that they're only cousins, and they're going to be torn.
Yeah. Sophie Turner said in an interview that Sansa's fight in season 8 would be passionate and not political. She said something like that, and I think that really means that she's going to really fight a passionate fight for Jon. I think that's what she was alluding to. Yeah, but like I said in the video, it doesn't even really matter if Jon is in love with Daenerys or not, because they make absolutely no sense on a political level. Least of all, once they've all find out that he's a Targaryen. So I'm not even worried about that at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, he has a better claim than Dany does, right? Technically.
Yeah, because Jon is the rightful heir to the south. Sansa 100% becomes a queen in the north next season, because the Northern Lords were already ready. They already said, perhaps we should have chosen you to rule us. I think they will 100% turn against Jon when they found out that he's a rightful Targaryen and that he gave the North away to another Targaryen.
Yeah.
I think that they will 100% drop him. And the only way to prevent that, to reinforce his loyalty towards the North, because we know he's a Northerner, we know he wants to stay in the North, we know he's Ned Stark reloaded, and he doesn't want to leave the North. The only way for him to save his position is to marry the rightful heir to the North, which is Sansa. So it's really the only political outcome for me.
That makes sense too, exactly.
And we know, of course, that the Northern Lords hate the Targaryens anyway, and nobody wants another Targaryen reign. So
yeah, because in that way you would have two Targaryens ruling. If Jon and Dany were together, that would be just the North wouldn't go for that easy.
yeah, because once R plus L equals J is out, Jon becomes a rightful Targaryen, and he loses his claim to the North. I mean, he never even had a claim to the North because he's officially a bastard, but Daenerys wouldn't get anything out of this marriage, even if she did end up ruling Westeros, which I really don't think. She wouldn't get anything out of this marriage. It wouldn't make any sense for her to marry Jon. So yeah, the parentage reveal really will change everything there.
And it doesn't fulfill that pact of a Targaryen marrying a Stark. But also going back now, just a thought came to me about Jon manipulating Daenerys is when she tells him that she can't have children. Did he think at the back of his mind, oh, good, this is a move I can make now because there's going to be no consequences?
Exactly. That was my thought too. I
wonder about that too, because he was so adamant about not having bastards. Remember, y'all?
Yeah, exactly. He was going into that thinking, okay, maybe my thought was Tyrion and Jon were standing at some point in front of the door. We don't see, at least I don't remember, do we see anything or anybody behind Jon when he's knocking at the door? Who knows, maybe Tyrion is already there. After they had the talk, and when he knocks on the door, he does have this face that kind of, it looks like he's freaked out in a way, like on the inside, like he's I don't know what look person would have going into the room with different intentions, but he just kind of looked kind of odd knocking at the door, scared.
Yeah, I kind of wonder because Tyrion is kind of like thinks himself as the master manipulator, and is he seeing something recognizable in Jon? They think, oh, this is Jon using Daenerys because that just came to me something like he would have sex with Daenerys if he thought there was no consequences because he really didn't want to bring her bastard into the world. And what Froax said is that when they were getting in that boat and going off to that firewatch, Jorah looked back, but not Jon.
Exactly.
Because Jorah loves Dany. He
Yeah.
didn't give her a backward glance. She looked dewy-eyed, but he never even looked back. You would look back. If you love someone, you would look back. I'm wondering if did Tyrion recognise Jon as making a move, a political move?
Exactly. And then when you mentioned Jorah, I mean, God, man, when you look in his face, you can see love and complete devotion. I don't know if the actor can portray that or he's meant to portray it. You can see that he has true feelings, like deep feelings for Dany, whereas Jon, I don't know. At this point, I don't even know what I see when I look at him looking at her. It's kind of odd.
That's the thing. I rewatched a few episodes after I had watched this video 1.5 times I watched it. Furious. And yeah, to me, he didn't display the type of emotion that he displayed with Sansa. He didn't have to sleep with Sansa to convey how much he killed for her, just how much he cared for her, or what he would do for her, or what he would give to her or give up for her, just in a long kiss. That was way good enough. Or just by leaving her in charge. I mean, at this point, all he's really done is screwed Dany. I mean, yeah, he said she could, be his liege lord and all that, but At this point, he has no idea about his birth. So he really, she has dragons. He needed her help. Jon would do anything to save his people. It really wasn't a big deal to him. He's not a greedy or avarice or hubris person anyway. You know what I mean? He doesn't want glory or money or he's been a bastard his whole life. Where he's at now is the best place he's ever been. And being king, I imagine it weighs you down. That's partly what's wrong with Dany. She kept on, I want to be queen, I want to be queen, I want to be queen. Now she couldn't imagine being anything but.
Yeah, I think it would be really so totally out of character if Jon was suddenly falling in love with her. I don't know on what foundation do they really have. They never talked. When did he ever look at her the way he looked at Sansa? And even if he had done that, it wouldn't really help anything, because they never interacted on a personal level. They never talked about personal stuff. They never talked about they could have done so many bonding moments, but they never bonded. It's either it was really, really very bad writing, or there was really more behind that. And also, Kit Harington said in the audio commentaries that he couldn't even really say when exactly Jon was supposed to fall in love with Daenerys, because he thought it was at the dragon pit, and Benioff and Weiss said in the cave. So it was really super, super strange that he didn't even know when this illegally epic love story started. And we know he can act. We know he can act. He can act in love. If it's it's not his fault if he wasn't supposed to act in love, I think.
And that reminds me of the whole Daenerys is supposed to be kind of betrayed for the last one more time for love. And my thought is, what if Jon betrays her because of his love for the people? Meaning he did what he did. I mean, he gave up North for him, even though it might have not been his, to give, but he gave up North, he sacrificed it. So going to bed with her, in a way, is sacrificing himself, kind of, sort of. I don't see him not doing it. I mean, he gave up the North. Why wouldn't he give up his body? But then she may feel betrayed because of what Jon did, because he loved, I don't know, the North, the South. He wanted to save the people. So who knows? Maybe she's going to be feeling betrayed by him for his love for others.
So you agree that Jon will be Daenerys' betrayal for love?
Maybe for love of the people. I mean, I can kind of see like why he would do what he did with her to get, her on his side. I'm not saying that he actually did that, but I kind of see it more now that he would go to her.
I actually put that in the chat earlier. So you think Jon will be Dany's betrayal for love, or Tyrion? Because Tyrion, in the show at least, he kind of has a soft spot for both Sansa and Dany, but I could see him having to choose between Sansa Jon, or either Dany Jon and choosing Sansa, or choosing Dany, or you see what I'm saying? I could see it going 3 different ways.
I think both Tyrion and Jon will betray Daenerys next season. Tyrion will betray her because, of course, he still loves Jaime and all, and
he's still a Lannister. Tyrion is still a Lannister. He just doesn't believe in what they do, and is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, and Jon's priority is saving Westeros and saving the North, and keeping his family safe. He knows that Arya and Bran are at Winterfell, and he knows that the army of the dead is coming. So that's really his priority. Keeping his family safe. Family has always been his priority, and everything he has done in season 7 is to keep them safe. He didn't give up the North because he thinks Daenerys is such a great queen and she deserves it, because he barely knows her. He did it because he thinks it's the best way to secure the North, to keep his family safe, and that's really his motivation, I think.
That actually makes a lot of sense when we see, because I always, in the beginning, I always thought that she's going to be betrayed 3 times, right? The last time for love.
Right.
What if it's not like singular, like the 3 times, but what if it's for 3 reasons? And the last reason, love, she may be betrayed by many people for love. Not just one person will betray her. The betrayal is the reason. There are 3 reasons she's going to be betrayed, and I forgot the other 2 for whatever it was. I can't remember it now. But the third one, for love, that's one reason. Who knows, by multiple people. It doesn't say 3 people will betray you. You're going to be betrayed for 3 reasons or something like that. I don't remember it saying 3 people will betray you.
I remember it being reasons.
It was betrayal. Wasn't it betrayal for love, for gold, and for love, for gold, and for blood?
Yeah. Blood, love, and gold.
Okay, so she was like for gold, and she was being sold, right? Kind of sold by her brother, mostly by her brother. She was like this bargaining piece on a chessboard, right? For gold.
It's kind of like Viserys betrayed her by selling her off to Dothraki.
Yeah.
And Jorah betrayed her for his homeland, but basically for gold too, because he wanted to get back to Bear Island. I think they are the 2 betrayals that she faced. She's facing one more, and that could be Jon. And also to go further back too.
I think, or Tyrion.
I don't think she's that close to Tyrion, to be honest. I mean, there are times where she's.
But I think he might betray her if it came down to either.
Well, to be honest, I see both Tyrion and Varys kind of switching.
If it came down to Jaime, you know, and we know he's riding that way. Of course, we don't know in the books, but I do think definitely, because we don't know enough about the books to be this far, but definitely she could get betrayed by Tyrion for love of Jaime.
Well, what about her being betrayed by?
Sorry, Elena, that could be foreshadowed in that scene where Jaime picks up the whatever you call it, spear, and chases after Daenerys, and it's not Daenerys that Tyrion's worried about; it's Jaime's safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he did, and you know, and he also says it. You know, we get it the very first episode when he is very suspicious of his family and Bran Stark and everything, and he says, you know, and he says it sarcastically, but I think he means it wholeheartedly. You know what I mean? When he says, you know, I love my family.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Of course, he felt very betrayed by Tywin. That's really what did him over the edge when he had that I don't give an F moment. Because he had put up with a lot of crap. And we all know he was a capable person who could have done other things. I mean, I don't think it was just the notoriety of being a Lannister, or was it? Do y'all think the reason he didn't go off and do something else, even though he complained so heartily about the way he was treated, was because, and that's what he told Shay in the show, it's because that's the only thing he felt like he was good at, was kind of backdoor politics.
I kind of think that Tyrion is what that aunt said, that Tyrion is really the son most like Tywin.
Me too.
He's
I think
Tywin
that too. That brings up another question I was going to pose to y'all. Do you guys think anybody is a secret Targ? I have maybe thought that Jaime and Cersei, and one of the reasons was because of Rhaegar pulling Jaime aside before he died and telling him when he got back a lot of things would change and they had to have a talk, because I think Rhaegar knew.
I don't think. I know that that's a theory that Tyrion is a secret Targaryen. I heard the Cersei Jaime theory. I don't think there will be any more secret Targaryen. There was also a theory that Avarys is a secret Targaryen. and that's why he's shaving his hair.
I think Jamie might be. I think Jamie might be a Targaryen, but by the time we find out, Cersei will already be dead.
I don't know. I know because Tyrion was really getting along with the dragons. Therefore, many people thought he's a Targaryen. Maybe I don't think. Maybe in the books. Maybe it's a book thing. I don't really see it happen on the show.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, and I can agree to disagree. It's just, I go back and forth on a lot of stuff, but here lately I've really been thinking about it and trying to think about it. And what gets me is like, what did Rhaegar mean? What was he going to tell him? Like, I know my father only made you part of the king, because he could fight. Like, you can fight, that's no lie. But my father only made you part of the king's guard to spite you. I can't think of any deep conversations other than that he'd have, pulled him aside and been like, now's not the time, but when I get back, a lot of things are going to change, and I got something I got to tell you, because they were brothers of the Night's Watch, yeah, but they weren't best buddies. Rhaegar was already married man, obsessed with reading books late into the night, things like that. I doubt they were close, just on the, just white brother.
It's kind of leading that way in the books more so than the show, because of it, mainly because Cersei is mirroring the Mad King's life, even to loving wildfire. Not so much Jamie,
but I think she'll be dead.
but I don't think the show will go there. Yeah, I don't think the show's going to go there.
So actually, with anything that we don't see on the show, I'm so hoping for the books to give us, as they have been already, given us more depth, and whatever show doesn't show us, I so hope that books are going to give it to us.
But I really hope not, because all these popping Targaryens, it's like, where's Wally?
Oh, no, I don't mean just the Targaryens, but anything that we're missing or things that they have to rush through because of the number of episodes that they have. Yeah.
We'll get far more depth in the books than we do in the shows. I said I can see this going on a downward spiral, and it left on a high in season 6 to me with Jon being proclaimed King of the North, and in season 7 I was really geared up for it, and then it just went over the hill and started going down the valley. And I just see the projection is that it's just going to continue to go down in the show because that's where they're heading. So I'm not looking forward to season 8 all that much. I'll watch it, but I'm not going to be as excited as I was for season 7 because I was kind of disappointed. Even the Winterfell plot, I mean, I was looking forward to Littlefinger dying so much because I really hated that guy. And the way they stuffed it up, they made Arya look like a psychopath. They made Sansa look stupid. And like that she only ever wanted power, which people misunderstood, is that Sansa has trust issues. I mean, all that she's been through, she trusts herself, and she's trying to tell Jon not to follow Ned and Rob's footsteps because they got. Yeah. And to me, what Sansa's going through is a little bit of PTSD.
Yeah.
Yeah, emotionally, and she just trusts herself.
Anxiety. Yeah. Her and Jon both, when they give that, last longing look, they look like two of the most anxiety-ridden people. You know what I mean? Like, they would be perfect ancient examples of PTSD for both of them, and anxiety disorder for both of them. And also, I was going to say, y'all know Russell's a casual show watcher, but he even said the other day, when do you think the 8th book's going to come out? And I told him, I said, after the 8th season, because at this point, it's just become a merchandising game. They'll be able to milk, if they put the show and the book out at the same time, whereas if they put it out separate times, they can keep people going and keep people buying and whatever else. Things I just think end up becoming about the bigger picture for everything, especially when a show gets this wildly popular and makes this much money.
Yeah, but also to me, when you look at Jon and Sansa, you've got to look at the people around them because they're not seeing it in themselves. So I looked to Littlefinger and his reactions, and he saw it. He saw that there was something within Jon for Sansa, and then he tested Sansa to see if there was something, her feelings for Jon was in any way paralleled.
That definitely felt like a test, though. 100% on both of them, really, because it took him a while to push Jon's buttons, but Sansa did it, and then yeah, he did the same to her, except he didn't, he kind of shoot up to the topic. Littlefinger went just straight on in on that. Yeah, I heard he might marry her. Well, it'd be a good move politically. They'd be hard to beat with their armies combined. She does have 3 dragons.
Yeah, and
For now.
Littlefinger's a comment when he brought that up, it was so random, yeah, I heard the Dragon Queen is beautiful and maybe they will get married. Littlefinger was really the only one who ever even mentioned this option, this Jon Daenerys marriage option. Nobody else did that, and yeah, it was so random and out of the blue, really. That yeah, I really think it was kind of a test for Sansa. This random comment.
Yeah, and she looked kind of nervous when he was saying that, and he was studying her face. And it did kind of seem like she was thinking about it really, really hard about what's going on or what could happen.
I don't even understand why Littlefinger was the only one who ever really brought this up, this possible Jon Daenerys marriage, because before Daenerys went to Westeros, she said to Dario, yeah, I will have to make alliances and maybe by marriage, and then she never even brought up the possibility throughout season 7 that, or maybe Jon, we should get married, because she was all about, her campaign really consisted of bend the knee or die. She never once mentioned making alliances. She never once mentioned maybe that she has to marry someone. Yeah, I don't know why no one else really mentioned that in season 7 anymore. Just,
I think Dario did.
In season 6.
I think Dario mentioned it. That Tyrion had. I think didn't Tyrion or Dario or something mention that it would be good to look for a marriage within Westeros with one of the lords. Maybe wrong, but I thought that was mentioned, and that's why Dario was given the boot. But another thing that Dario said, which struck me as true, is you're not a ruler, Daenerys Targaryen, or Daenerys Stormborn. You're a conqueror.
Yeah.
You weren't meant to sit on a throne.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
And when she was giving that war speech to the Dothraki, and she was sitting on her dragon and was like, yeah, will you go to Westeros with me? Will you kill the men in their iron suit? And Dario was looking really worried and concerned, and that I think. And I think he really has a point. Says that you are not meant to sit on a chair for the rest of your life. He really had a point there.
I think. Yeah, and also the way that Littlefinger, what you mentioned earlier, Ferrex, is the way that Littlefinger looked at Jon is the way that he behaved in a political manoeuvre. He's thinking, what would I do if I was Jon? And he would marry Daenerys and join forces, because that's the political way to go. And I'm wondering if Jon's done that in a political move, and not realizing that she might get pregnant because she told him that she can't get pregnant. He's using it because, just as you said, when Kit said in an interview, he didn't quite know where he's supposed to fall in love with her, because he's reading the script and thinking, what the heck? He's probably thinking, what the heck? Where am I supposed to fall in love with her? Because it's all rush, rush, rush.
Yeah. I don't think that, when Jon said to Daenerys, yeah, maybe the witch wasn't telling the truth, and what did he say? Yeah, maybe the witch was wrong. I don't think he really thinks that the witch was wrong. He just wanted to maybe maybe kind of manipulate her, make her think that she might have,
And the way that Tyrion, sorry, I might be stepping on. And the way that Tyrion at the end looked, it's to me like he's recognising another political mover, and he didn't see it coming in Jon Snow because Jon's been honourable and nice and always kind of like the little kid at the wall when he met Jon last time, and now Jon's become this king in the north. He can politically manoeuvre himself, and Daenerys.
Okay, just a minute.
Tyrion can see it.
So yeah, like after he was resurrected, maybe this is the Jon that we're gonna see. That he is not I mean, he is honorable, but he can also have his other darker side. Maybe this is the change people were kind of hoping for, that he would be different after being resurrected. So maybe this is his side, more, scheming political side coming out. Who knows? Yeah.
Hey,
I agree.
everybody.
I agree, and also, death changes you, and maybe this is the way Jon changes a little bit, because in the books, like, it really changes Beric Dondarrion in the books more so than the show. But maybe this is where death has changed Jon, and that he's learnt to politically manoeuvre people and manipulate them.
Hey, everybody. We've been chatting. I know we got started late. We didn't get started till 3, but we're going on 3 hours. And
Oh wow!
so yeah, we got started around 3, and because we worked on it since 2, but it's 10 to 6. Why don't we wrap up? And I don't know if I have to work this coming Sunday, but let's have a part 2 because we didn't even finish all the parallels or anything.
Yeah.
Good idea.
That would be great. Yeah.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yep.
Okay, I know I'm off tomorrow and Thursday, but I'm not sure. LMR, you need to do a weekend, huh?
No, actually, I can do anytime. As far as next Sunday, I think that's a holiday that we're celebrating.
Yeah, exactly. Next Sunday's Easter, so nobody can do anything next Sunday. What's a good day for everybody? Maybe Saturday if I don't have to work, or if we can get our times together, because we're also we're the same time, and you guys are a different time. Me and LMR are Central Time. Then Furex is CTE. I'm not even sure what that means, except she's 6 hours ahead of me.
Yeah.
And Marie, you're what, like 8 hours behind?
Oh my!
Central? Yeah.
I'm down under.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
Oh wow!
everybody, just in case you didn't know, you got one lady from around Chicago, one lady from around New Orleans, one lady from Southern Australia, and one lady from Germany.
That is amazing.
It really is. And it's, except for us two, me and you, LMR, definitely also way different times.
Well, Sunday is my Monday, so that's fine.
It would be really, I think
Okay.
Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday's Easter.
Yeah, maybe in 2 weeks Sunday.
Okay, how about we don't do anything next week, but then the next Sunday we do something?
Sunday
I
is
think
good.
Was 3
we'll have to find
o'clock
out what
good? Was 3 o'clock
Felix
good for you,
is
Marie?
yes. Yeah, we have to find out what I don't know how to pronounce your name. Could you say it for me, please?
Me?
Yeah.
Yes.
My real name,
Either, both.
the YouTube name is Feuerhexe.
Firehex. I
I
have to
got
find
it.
out what Firehex may be with her family. A lot of people like travel to their families.
Yeah. Feuerhexe or Britta.
So it might have to be 2 weeks from now.
You just have to forgive me. I can't say either one of them right about half the time. It's just because I'm so country. Yeah, everybody in the chat, why don't we try to shoot for 3 o'clock? Would that be okay for both you, Marie? What time would that be for you?
I think that's about 6 or 7. That'll be fine, but it'll have to be not Easter weekend because I think
Right,
Firehex.
we're gonna just skip next weekend.
Yeah, that should be all right with me. Yep.
Okay, and me and LMR
Sounds good with me.
3 o'clock's good for you. What
Yep.
about you, Fire Hexa? Was 3 o'clock too late?
You mean 3 Central?
Well, what time was it there for you?
I think 3 Central should be 9 for me in the evening, and that's fine.
That's fine. Okay. Well, not this week, but the week after, and I'll make sure I'm off work at least by 3. That shouldn't be a problem.
Okay.
Sounds
That's
great.
Okay, ladies. Thank you. Everybody want to take theirself out? We'll start with the guest of honor first, Fire Hexa, because we were talking about her video, and this is her special chat.
Thank you very much, and I'm saying goodbye now.
Okay. You want to just say anything about your YouTube channel or your Twitter or anything?
Yeah, go to my YouTube channel, Feuerhexe, and there you can also find a link to my Twitter page in the channel information. You
I
guys,
lost sound.
Oh no, I think Fire Hexa lost voice.
I think that there was a lag. I think it's the lag as well. It's
Yeah.
kind of lagging. Yeah.
Okay. Well, you go ahead, Marie, and then you go, LMR.
Okay, I don't do many videos now. It's Game of Theories with Marie, if you want to check out old videos. And I just want to say, g'day, Russell. Thumbs up.
Marie said hey.
Hey, Marie.
Russell says hey to everybody, really.
I'm trying to break in a new cat over here.
Yeah, we got a new cat today.
We need pictures.
My
And it's
sister-in-law didn't want her anymore. We didn't want to see her go to the SPCA, so we took her on. Okay.
And it's-
now I gotta get me a dog.
It's
and
been-
everything up.
Go ahead.
And it's been great meeting Firexa because I really loved the video. I really did. I showed it. I sent the link to all my friends because it was just great. It was one of the best videos. You did such a great job. And I just sat here mesmerized through the whole hour. And I usually only watch, videos that go for 10 or 20 minutes, but I sat mesmerized for the entire hour and watched it. And I sent it to Jen and some other people. So thanks for that really great vid. And everybody check out her channel. And LMR, nice meeting you. Great to hear from you. And I loved hearing you on the chat too and listening to your views. Thanks, Jen.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you so much, Marie. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate it. Had such a bad time getting started. I know we talked about coincidence, but I guess on streams I'm excited about. I just have terribly bad luck. Because I haven't been this excited for a stream since me and you and Ray did that one. And kind of the same thing happened, but we figured it out. We got it. Us ladies got this. All right, LMR.
Again, I have to say, first of all, Jen, thank you so much for inviting me again. It's always a blast. I love it. I love chatting with you. The guests that you invite, they're so nice, and it's just always great. As far as the video, I think this is my 10th time saying, people go watch this video. Firehexa made a video that completely blew my mind. I love it.
Okay.
You have
if you
to see
make
it.
these videos, you know that making a 55-minute video took this lady hours.
It must have been. I don't know how you did it. My videos are usually shorter, and
That's why people keep them
Yeah.
between 5, 10, 15 minutes, because the longer they are, the harder they are. The editing has to be just so. Yeah, if nothing else, Fire Hexa's video went out of her way to take her time and get every little detail. I think we can all agree on that. And I'm Jen, Lady Wolverton. You can find me Thursday nights, 8 Central. We'll be doing Sansa 2 or Chapter 30. Please join me. I'm also on Twitter, Jennifer Wolverton 1976, and Facebook, Jennifer Wolverton. Thank you. And thank you, ladies. It's always a pleasure when Marie joins us. But LMR, I've really, really enjoyed you. And, you and Marie, I like having y'all in my chats. If
Thank
you're
you.
not invited and you feel like you should be or want to be, just let me know because sometimes I feel like, oh, am I asking them too much? Am I, you know, I believe it or not, I'm not all the time feeling like, I don't know, I get nervous too.
You don't sound nervous, so you're winging it great.
That's
It's
my
awesome.
front, fake it till you make it. And they don't say that just in other things, but half of being is believing. And I'm not saying I believe I'm that confident, but this is my time, just like somebody else would bowl or something. I do book club live stream, and hopefully we can have some more and discuss. We're gonna have to. We still got, I think, some Sansa and Jon to keep going over. Still got more parallels, but we can also maybe do a few other topics if you guys want. But that's all for me. Anybody else?
Oh, I just want to mention the people in the chat. I love the comments, and I noticed that
Oh, we
there's
should
so
read
many.
them and say
Yeah,
bye.
yeah.
Yep. Thank you everyone for coming, and I love being here with Jen anyway because she just makes everybody feel so welcome and warm, which is the silent way.
Okay, and just a few quick things from the chat. Vibrant, thank you so much for being here with us. She left a lot of comments, but I'm gonna read your last one. I've been a long time Jon Sansa fan, even before Hex's video, but Hex's video is one of the best compilation videos of Johnson theories out there. Amen. Amen. Bubba Husky. That video was indeed the tits. Thank you very much, Bubba Husky. Think about what this lady went through putting that video together. And on top of that, it is really wonderful. Stephen, it was nice watching this and speaking to you all. Thank you very much. Come back. Sanchez, thank you for coming by. Um, let me see. Broke Black Man had popped in. Um, I
And Tony was here earlier.
Gryffindor Weasley. Anybody I'm missing here?
Tony and Hal Sanchez. I don't know if you mentioned.
I didn't mention Tony. Thank you for mentioning Tony.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, y'all. Thank you so much. And for those of you who watch this video later, be on the lookout for more streams in the future with me, Fiora Hexer, Marie, and LMR. Could be on any theory. You never know. But yeah, we really enjoyed it. We do this all for pleasure, and the only qualification to be here is that you love Game of Thrones, love the show, love the books, and be nice to the chat. Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good rest of the night.
Good night, everybody.
Night everybody. Thanks, Viper. Great comments.